All right. And we are live. The last word, Lord Cognito, Ebontis, and Ty Guy Travis on that Thursday evening campfire. Major show, amazing guest lined up. Let's start first with E. How you doing, sir?
Doing good, dabbling in a little bit of that whole Halo thing that magically dropped on Monday and broke the internet. So I got a little bit of that in. I've got a little bit of practice to do because that's a different game. Time to Kill is a different animal in there. So I got a feel for it, played with a couple of buddies. Yeah, it's a different animal, but definitely something to get used to. It is very smooth. I think after like maybe the first hour, like it's been very smooth, very polished, feels pretty good. And then I got to read it. Like, so I don't read books as much as I probably should, guaranteed. But I think I got my reading in for today, which we're going to talk about here in just a little bit. So I definitely consume some words sometimes, but maybe not always in books. Travis, what about you, man? I'm trying to go fast because today is going to be probably a long show.
I'll get through it, man. I'll get through it. Yeah, like you, I've been playing a ton of Halo. I'm doing coverage for IGN. I'm helping them with video capture and with the wiki. I'm creating the multiplayer tips guide. So if you ever want to know how to be a sweat lord at Halo Infinite multiplayer, I created the tips guide there. So I'm having to play a lot and trying to figure out secrets and stuff that people don't know usually.
Do you want a good tip?
Sure.
Let's go.
Something I've been crunching. If you have I think it's the Mangler, the Ravager, the shotgun pistol one.
Yeah.
One shot to the body melee kills every time. So I've been just kind of camping a corner. It's as close to Destiny as you get in Halo.
So, have you guys gotten have you guys figured out about the armories that you can hack into in Big Team Battle?
Yeah, and they open up like a big rocket launcher and stuff.
Big Team Battle has these doors off to the sides that you can put your AI in, and if you stay there for like 30 seconds and guard the area, it'll hack open a door, and then it leads to an area with all these loot drops, and you can just send your whole team in there and like loot up with snipers and gravity hammers and stuff.
I noticed that at one point. I got to loot it out.
Nuts. Yeah, so you can read about that on my tips guide and other cool tips. Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Halo. I've been playing a lot of Forza. I'm catching up on all of my Game of the Year nominees games that I have to.
I was like, I really want to talk about the game, all the nominations, but
we're not going to have time.
Yeah. We don't have time. We'll save that for another time.
The short version is because of the weakness of the award nominations. My job just got a lot easier in terms of the games I have to beat this year. So I'm happy about that, but also kind of sad.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing, and obviously stoked about all this Destiny news.
Oh, God, sir, what about you, man?
Yeah, it's been good, man. I mean,
no other podcasts you do, nothing else you've been playing.
Nothing going on with me. Yo, Halo dropped perfectly on the birthday. Tremendous gift.
Seriously, I was like, damn,
it was love. Oh, it was perfect. I was rocking that out. Still
and a 49ers win, by the way. I did want to shout that
Niners
out.
Win was good.
Dude, the Niners win. I was like, oh, they're playing the Rams. We're not going to win. I'm like, okay.
I was like,
all right.
Blowout? Okay.
Cognito getting the double here.
Yeah. It was a glorious day.
Yes.
It was a glorious day. So we got that. And then, I'm doing a little Forza Horizon, sneaking that in. I finished Forgotten City, which was amazing.
Nice. I've heard really good things.
Yeah, that's how you do time loop. Yeah, I know. But that's how you do time loop. So I was happy with that. And then some Destiny news dropped today. But before we get into that, we got like this amazing returning guest we got to deal with, man.
Yes, let's do it how we do it here at the campfire. Welcome to The Last Word, episode number 174. The weather is getting colder. Turkeys will soon be the centerpiece of many family tables. And there has never been a better time to not be under the Activision umbrella. As Guardians, we are usually...
Shots fired. I was hard. Yo, you made Skarrow drop. That was hard.
Sorry, we broke character. Hold on, bring it back. As Guardians...
That was a Mangler body shot melee.
He mangled him and then he hit him with the melee. Yeah, continue. Sorry, Eve.
I don't know if I can follow that up, but we're going to try. As Guardians, we are usually prepared for most things, but today Bungie dropped possibly the biggest TWAB of them all, and we have a special returning guest to join us at the campfire for what I will expect to be a hashtag long point of a podcast. If you know, you know. Our guest tonight knows patience, persistence, and determination pay off better than most. Right now, he is working on his PhD in polymer chemistry, and in case that isn't clear what that is, it's a focus on everything from plastic to rubber and DNA, basically everything that's made up of macromolecules. This man has worked his tail off to prove that he is worth being called Doctor. And if you've ever seen his streams, you know he will not stop until he succeeds, no matter what he puts his mind to. Just ask him how long it took to solo Atheon, and you'll know that he is just like Ted Lasso and won't quit something until he crosses the finish line. So let's welcome a man of true taste, one who holds Ocarina of Time in high regards and would put Vault of Glass on the bottom shelf, a man of ranking exotics, a master of ranking exotics, huge contributor to the Corridors of Time puzzle, lover of Baby Scream, a fan of a very dingy emote, and owner of some of the most luscious, flowing locks that are always ready for a good headbanging if some metal graces his ears. So let's welcome the one, the only, Skarrow9. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing very well, as always. Unbelievable intros. It's incredible. So thank you. And I like the research on what polymer chemistry is. I appreciate that.
I was like, I probably gave it a really crappy description, but I had to look it up a little bit.
I mean, from like a outside
Layman.
looking in, yeah, that's it.
You can say layman term.
Very excellent description of elevator pitch of what polymer chemistry is. So it was good. Yeah. What's up, everyone? How you doing?
Been, How you been, bro?
I've just been vibing, trying to survive. And
he's blowing out his vocal cords when he beats bosses, getting married, like jamming on the guitar. Like, seriously, is there anything you're not doing?
Sleeping.
That fits.
That fits pretty well. Yeah.
Other than that, I'm excited to, I only have about a year and a half left in my program, and
nice.
I'm excited for that to be over, because then I get like a real person job with real person pay and real person sleep, and that's like very excited for that.
Very nice, very nice. I wanted to ask you, if the world of like polymer chemistry, like what is some of the like one or two of like the coolest like either interactions between chemicals, things that you've learned about, stuff like random facts that you're like, damn, nobody knows this, and it's like some of the coolest things. Like, you got any of those?
Man, that's
probably
hard.
too many.
That's really hard to. Oh, I don't think people like. I mean, most people don't like realize, what a polymer is, or how crazy they are. But I mean, it's anything like shopping bags are polyethylene. You have like Advanced Shakers, definitely a sponsor.
Shout out to Advanced.
Polypropylene, I would imagine.
Guys.
Yeah. Those are usually made out of polypropylene, if I had to guess. Polymers are everywhere. You have rubbers on headphones, and usually they're coated with some sort of brominated polymer, so they're not flammable and stuff. And it's just kind of crazy how much goes into it behind the scenes, that like people are just like, oh yes, this is plastic, that's plastic, this is plastic, but they're all different stuff, and that's what I really like about it. But in terms of like random facts, I have no idea. I honestly, I don't know.
Do you have like, I don't know, a favorite chemical, like, or anything?
A favorite chemical? Look at that.
Look at you.
So I commonly say that my favorite, solvents are, you dissolve things in solvents to run reactions, because typically you can't do reactions in solid state. They have to be in solution state. And so my favorite solvent is DMSO, dimethyl sulfoxide. It's really good for dissolving things. It's one of the most, so people call like water the universal solvent. That's not true for like organic molecules, just for mostly salts and stuff. DMSO is really, everything's pretty much soluble in DMSO, and assassins used to use it. They would dissolve their poison in a little bit of DMSO and put on doorknobs. And so when people would touch the doorknob, it would go through the people's skin, because your skin is soluble in DMSO. So it would just kind of like soak through, and DMSO isn't toxic, but the poison is. And so there have been assassinations that way. But also, if you get DMSO and you rub it on your feet, you taste garlic in your mouth. So that's cool.
What?
Random is what? That's crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of really cool, like, I don't know, it's one of those things I can't pull up facts, but you get me talking and I'll be,
just starts going. Nice.
Well, what can you tell us about chemical X? And how it might mix with sugar and spice. And,
is this this is a reference I don't get. I have no idea what the hell chemical X is.
Never mind then.
Savagery. But other than that, what I was gonna say, how you been as far as game playing and stuff like that? Obviously, we know you're married to Destiny for a lot of time, but has anything else snuck yet? I know you mentioned Halo previously.
Halio.
Yeah,
Halio.
Destiny, Destiny is definitely where I spend most of my time. But Halo, my friends were bugging me about it. I've played when the Master Chief Collection came out like 5 or 6 years ago or whatever. I played all the campaigns, but I've never played like a Halo multiplayer.
Oh.
And so when this dropped on Monday and my friends were like, it's free, it's free, it's free. I was like, all right, I'll download it, whatever. And I've been like, it's so much fun. I really thrive in these high time to kill environments. I think like my strong suit, fast reaction time, and kind of like outplaying. I guess that's a little bit egotistical, but like really we're doing like really intricate like movements and stuff. And in a game like Destiny or especially Call of Duty, you don't really have the time to do that. It's like in Call of Duty, especially, like you get shot, you're just dead.
Yeah, that's it.
But
Time to get so high.
Yeah, in Halo, if someone has like a gun that's like a little bit better for the ranged engagement or something, you can do a lot more to get multi kills and stuff. So I've been having a lot of fun, especially in the competitive playlist.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm excited. I don't know.
No
I've been getting. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say any loadouts that's exciting you right now. I know you mentioned, man, like any other guns right now that's just they're feeling good. You're loving certain combos.
Yeah. So I'm a big fan of the battle rifle. For whatever reason, I'm like a mid sniper at best in Destiny. In Halo, that thing sticks to heads. I'm mouse and keyboard too, and I'm just such a good sniper in Halo, and I don't understand it. It's really confusing. But battle rifle, I like comp as well because you spawn with a battle rifle and not that garbage assault rifle. I cannot stand that thing. It's so bad. And then
you don't like the assault rifle?
No, I hate it. It's
so good.
Garbage.
They had to nerf it because it was too good.
It's better. See what it is. You're new to Halo, right? Right.
Yeah.
This is kind of your first one. So like I know what you mean, Trav. Like he doesn't know what it used to be. So for us, we like, oh, it's actually decent.
It's pretty good. If somebody's got a BR and you're fighting with an assault rifle at close range, the assault rifle is going to win, which is the main purpose of it. It's for ultra close range.
If I'm playing like regular quick play or what, I forget, I don't know what it's called. The regular game modes. I'll switch to the pistol every time. Like I think the pistol is better than the assault rifle.
Oh yeah, no, without it, we need a pistol. Yeah, I'm a pistol Pete kind of guy. Continue.
But anytime I see like there's that weird purple circle thing that shoots green, I leave that. No, it sucks. I'm not touching it. There's the one that shoots like giant fire pools. I have no idea how it works. I'm not touching it.
Charge it up. Yeah.
It's like I pick like the normie guns that I can run around shotgun meleeing people or sniping.
That's what most people do.
Yeah. Also, what's up with grenades in Halo? Why do you get 12? Or it's like 2 every time you respawn, but it's constant. It's crazy.
It's like that's kind of the secret sauce of Halo is that the Blam engine has like grenades so perfectly tuned so where you can like bounce them off of objects and around edges and stuff like that, around corners, and so they just give you a ton of different grenade options.
Oh, well, there you go.
Part of Halo.
It's it is a little frustrating at times, but it's also kind of fun just to like sticky nade across the map, see what you can do, or the fallen grenades. I don't know what any Halo terminology. I'm always like, get the fallen grenades.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, those like art chaining ones.
Yeah, they're like those things are crazy. They're so good.
Yeah, it actually, it's funny that this is like new to Halo because there's a ton of like Destiny stuff that is sort of like ode to Halo, and knowing about the Halo sandbox can actually help you in Destiny in certain ways. Like,
there you go. I definitely been missing out on that forever. So I've been having a lot of fun. I definitely get the hype behind Halo. I think it is a great game. It's the one thing that Halo I've really been thinking about playing Halo is like, why does Destiny not have more fun game modes? Like, where's an oddball in Destiny? Where's an old? I remember like COD 4 had old fashioned, which is the same thing as Halo, where you spawn with like a default loadout and there's guns that spawn around the map. Like Destiny you could literally do that with exotics. Yeah. Why is there not a gun game in Destiny where you spawn with an exotic you get a kill and you have to cycle through 20 exotics?
Oh my gosh, so many times
like,
you said that.
You could do sticks and stones with swords and bows or something. Like there's so many things you could do in Destiny. But it's like, hey, Rift, not coming back. Salvage, not coming back. It's like...
Rift actually is coming back.
Rift is coming back.
Well, 3 years later.
Yeah,
sure.
It's been way too long. Yeah,
but I get you. That's like, it's so weird because Halo's the exact opposite, where they're adding modes so often. Their problem is that their playlists get too like saturated, and people are like, "Come on, take out some of these modes." There's like so many, and usually 343 goes, "Nah, like we're keeping them all," and I kind of love that about Halo. But I think a part of it is their culture, because Halo has always had a custom games option where you can make your own game modes, and a lot of those game modes become popular.
I would pay so much money for that.
Like, oh my god, dude! Like, I've asked about that for years. Every time I went to the Bungie headquarters.
Private games was such a sad thing to see, because you're like, oh, you can pick the map and the length of the match. I'm like, you can't pick anything else. Do you have any idea how much fun people would have?
In Destiny 1, you could pick the time of day. Don't forget that.
That's true.
You can go day or night. This changes things depending on some maps that may change. But like, let me pick like, just these weapons or certain, like you could do so much, like the Forge mode or Portal mode, all like these other games.
What is Portal mode?
Portal's Battlefield. Portal is like they're taking like 3 or 4 Battlefield games, combining it all, choosing like you could have 4 new troopers versus like 50 old World War II guys. You got machine guns versus like muskets. Can the 50 beat the 4 type? Like so much insanity that people can make, and they can set up like rules of like red light, green light. I've seen them do that online. Like.
Squid Games in Battlefield?
I mean, I saw one thing where people were trying to make it. So, I mean, like, you can get that creative, and Destiny hasn't ever scratched the surface of it. And that is always frustrating.
I wish they would. I really wish they would.
They absolutely should. I think the reason they probably don't is because their sandbox is really hard to put into a custom creator. So, like, Halo it's an arena sandbox, so you can drop weapons on the map as part of the game mode, or you can make it, everybody has energy swords as part of the game mode. I actually played a custom game yesterday where we made grapple shot energy sword, and everyone just had unlimited grapple shot.
Oh my god!
And that was the entire game mode. It was great. And then you can also make your own maps once Forge comes out in May. But I think Destiny,
if it's May,
it'll probably be May. I gotta imagine that but we'll see. But I've always thought, every time I go to Bungie headquarters, I'm like, you guys need to do like more with custom games. Like, let people make modes, because that is half of the Halo game modes were discovered because players made them. Infection, that was like a player game mode that then they added into the game canonically. So like they just need to do it, man. It's such a good idea.
Yep.
Agreed.
Well, Sir Skarrow, thank you for joining us. We have the meatiest of all TWABs, I think, ever. 6,000 words and 18 pages per Cosmos tweets. We have a lot to discuss tonight, so we may as well get cracking on it. I would say it's probably a pretty good idea. Basically, my goal in this one, and I will put timestamp in there. I'm trying to keep track of it for everybody. So if you're watching this later on, timestamps will be there if you want to hit certain sections, see what we think about it. I'm going to try and break this up as we can. I don't know how long this thing's going to take, so timestamps will be crucial, but we will do our best. I already read this thing out on my YouTube, or on Twitch streaming, and then put it up on YouTube. Mine was 50 minutes. I saw Tassie's was 36. I think Cool Guy on Fallout was 52 minutes. Like, this is not a short thing. So just get comfortable, go for a walk with your dog, do some chores, whatever you got to do. You're going to have to get comfortable.
Let's get it.
So first thing we've got here is going to be basically, we're going to jump deep into the sandbox. It's all about abilities that we're going into. They do a quick, before they dive into it, they're just going to give a rundown of what we're going to cover. On the 30th anniversary, December 7th, they're going to basically drop the 30th anniversary patch, which is going to have the content that we're getting. We actually saw it was the Dares of Eternity, which is the 6-player activity. Tom Farnsworth tweeted that one out. Looks like it's got the 9 symbols on it. So I'm very intrigued to see what that's all about. We also get the dungeon, Galhorn, Catalyst, all exotic, all that fun stuff, bunch of ornaments that'll be coming. But also, as of last week and now this week, huge changes to the game, and this is probably some of the biggest ones we've seen. They said in-game, there's still plenty to do between seasonal challenges, but right now we are in pretty quiet time until it drops. Next Thursday is Thanksgiving, so the TWAB will be very light next week. That's why this thing is probably the biggest one we've ever seen. So the first thing is Kevin Giannis jumps in to say he wants to kind of give a overview, and then he lets Eric Smith and Mike Humboldt go a little deeper on some of the details. But we've got earlier this year, he said, we heard overwhelming feedback that the Crucible has been largely dominated by ability usage. And you'll notice that is a trend through almost this entire thing, that ability usage in Crucible is basically too much. Like, people see it too often. They're trying to get back into gunplay. Shout out real quick to Zinthos, the $9.99 super chat. First time catching y'all live. I usually listen to Spotify. Thanks for the great content.
Hello.
You are welcome. Glad to see you got one of these live. At its core, Destiny is a game about space magic, so any adjustments to our abilities must be made with care. We believe the changes we have made will keep the heart of what Destiny abilities fun intact, while shaving down some of the excessive cases we've seen out there. They said they feel it's important to reinforce here that it's part of Destiny's strength is that it's a live game, and we're able to iterate and improve on the game as it goes. So basically, they're trying to build on the foundations of this thing, but the big theme you'll notice from a lot of this stuff, minus some other tweaks and balance things, is they're trying to push away from abilities mostly in PvP. And that's the other nice thing I will say kind of upfront is they did a huge separation, and you'll see it a lot between PvP and PvE. And I just kind of wanted to get your guys' thoughts on this before we go nitty gritty of what your like kind of top thoughts were, if you thought these were positive or negative changes. And also, you know, I think we can kind of put to rest the splitting of sandboxes now as well. So Skarrow, where are you at so far? Just like high level view on this. Are you excited with what you see? Is there any, you know, are you like in between? Are you like negative Nancy? Where are you at?
Very excited. There's nothing I hate more than, you know, one shot BS, like getting smacked in the face by a shoulder charge randomly or any of these things. Shatter dive. Oh my goodness. Anything like that. So anytime we're going more towards a, you know, more gun focused game, that's a big plus for me. So I'm very much liking this idea.
Travis, what about you?
Yeah, I'm sort of in the same boat. I still think part of what makes Destiny special is the abilities that you have, but I think sometimes they can go from being like strategic to just being like toxic, and that's like they become a crutch where people are just leaning on it, and that's all. How many Titans have you seen that only get, you know, shoulder charge melee kills? How many Hunters have you seen that only ever succeed if they're using Shatter Dive? How many Warlocks have you seen succeed at anything? You know, it can be difficult. So,
so disrespectful. Continue.
Yeah, I think you know, there's certain things that should be a one shot. Like I've always thought, if you can stick a grenade on someone, it should be a one shot. Although the amount of kind of assist that it gave you, where it would hone in on somebody in Destiny 1 was definitely way too much. It like took no skill. Because like, hey, we were talking about Halo. Halo has a one hit kill grenade, but you get no assist. You have to aim perfectly with that plasma grenade. So, you know, something like that I think would be pretty good. But yeah, you definitely shouldn't be able to one shot somebody with Shatter Dive. That's insane. And, as I see in trials, one shot 3 people using Shatter Dive. Which is nuts.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's a lot of things. What about you, Cog? Just quick overview of this one if you got a chance to read it.
Yeah. I love the philosophy change. I mean, I think for people who are outside looking in on Destiny, that was always their issue. Like they were just like, hey, I want it to be more gunplay focused, and it's way too much ability spam, and that would kind of turn some of the hardcore balance guys off. So yeah, this is good. And now I just wanted to see as we get deeper how far they go, because my initial reaction was like, okay, this is good, but I just wanted to make sure they don't go into like vanilla D2 mode. Remember when vanilla D2 where you just was like taking forever, anything to charge kind of thing. But as I read, I'm very more excited. So I can't wait for us to get into it. But this is a great philosophy change. What about you, E?
Yeah, I mean, overall positive changes. There were a couple questions that I've had, and I kind of want to see how a couple things play out. But overall, I like where they're going. I like what they're doing. A lot of the biggest thing for me is that split. PvE versus PvP is substantially listed all over the place. That like, and that was my first worry is like, what you said, are we going to go back to D1 vanilla with like double primaries and abilities that are up like every hour? And it's just like, I don't want that again. Because as you guys have said, the magic of the game does come from your abilities, and PvE should be the fun power fantasy if you can separate them. We've always said, and finally, this is the most substantial level of this I've seen. So that was probably my biggest takeaway is these sandboxers are starting to get separated. And I think it had to happen. Otherwise, they were really going to just start to kind of lose out on some fun that we could have. But one of the things they mentioned is the team touched almost every piece of abilities content with this release. And they said this will be our biggest balance patch ever. And that's huge. And we'll scroll through and you guys will see how long it is. But they didn't miss much in this as we go through everything. So we definitely will have to try and cover as much as we can. I'll try not to dwell too long on anything, but there's some interesting ones we'll have to touch on. So first thing is the winds of change. So this one will kind of give you guys an overview because this actually goes into some of their thoughts on all of this. In the 30th anniversary, we've changed the way ability cooldowns work. And this is kind of important for a lot of things, including PvP. Up until now, cooldowns across individual ability types, grenade, melee, super, have generally been identical between all abilities. For example, all the grenades in Destiny 2 share the same cooldown. I said this shared cooldown mean that all grenades had to have roughly the same power. The nice thing is now they've got so many adjustment knobs that they can tune everywhere. They can separate different grenades, more powerful, faster, slower. All of these things changed, and they give a very specific example of a flux grenade versus a firebolt grenade. A flux grenade, which is the hunter one that you can throw, is going to have the base cooldown increased from 82 seconds to 182 seconds. It's going to go from like 1:20 to 3 minutes long. Now, the increased attached detonation damage to 250. It will be a one-shot kill in PvP, and we have not had that in a while. They increased the damage to PvE combatants by 15% on top of the base increase. But they removed the projectile tracking, so it is just like what you guys were talking about, the Halo grenade. If you can stick it, there is no assists. You got to stick it very accurately. They added a small amount of aim assist on the throw, smidge, but it's still not going to have any tracking or curving to it. And they increased the throw speed by 117%. Basically, it's a rocket out of your fist, it seems like. And it sticks to all surfaces. So you've got a huge change in a grenade that's now 3 times longer. It's a one-shot kill. It's only for hunters, which will change later, which they talk about. Versus take a firebolt grenade, reduce base damage cooldown from 82 to 64 seconds. Now you get it in base of a minute. Reduce the damage per bolt from 90 to 65, and they increase the damage versus PvE combatants. Like, a lot of things in PvE are getting buffed. Like, that's just going to be a common theme. But you got one grenade getting more than twice as long of the cooldown, another one coming down by about 20%. That's just 2 grenades. So it's like, when you guys got to this point, do you see anything major between these two that's exciting? Or, like, I mean, this is the level of detail that they're going to get into. So what do you guys think?
I think one thing that they did that's really good, they increased the damage that a flux grenade does, but not enough to kill a super. So most supers get like 60% damage resistance. So 250 isn't going to kill it, which is good. Like, there's no, if popping a hammer titan getting sucked by a grenade, I would be furious if I died. So I think that's a nice little bit of foresight that they did there. But I mean, yeah, I think it's cool. I'm kind of excited for it. Maybe some fireball, top tree dom blade builds potentially. I know people like their solar grenades, but I'd be very interested to see what this sort of thing does.
If you went like tier 10 discipline and some other stuff, that seems like it's going to be a frequent grenade that you'll be able to throw.
Yeah. But well, top tree as well gives you, I think, grenades if you get kills in the air, or it gives you melee, which then gives you grenades or something.
Yeah,
I forget.
It's that circular chain of crazy.
It's something like that. Yeah.
Cog, what about you on the Warlock action there? Any excitement for the firebolt, or where are you at? You are muted, I think.
Oh, because the cars are going by. Sorry. Yeah, like I think for me it was like this started the hinting of tiering, and to me, what they're looking at as potent, and I kind of like it. I kind of like, okay, you're looking at certain builds and you're saying, okay, we're going to make this powerful. We're going to separate it from PvE. So the PvE experience does not get affected for the most part and not made unfun, which was their problem before. But I like this idea of looking at every class, every ability and saying, okay, you're kind of here on the tier as far as potency. We can slow your cooldown on certain things, right? And then this one, maybe, okay, you're not as powerful, but maybe we give you a little bit more uptime. And that's the kind of thing I'm liking. So getting excited, y'all. I don't know if I get gassed. Like, we're getting into a true separation and balancing. Trav, where we at? How you feeling?
Yeah, I think the main thing I took away from this paragraph was less about like the specifics of what they told us about the grenades and more about them conveying their philosophy that like things are going to be different now. Not only is PvP and PvE going to be sort of separated, which should have happened a long time ago, frankly, because that's always been just a give and take where the PvP community's pissed off at the PvE players because their new subclass ruined PvP, and then the PvE players are mad when the PvP community forces, the ban hammer to come down or the nerf hammer, and then they're like, oh man, now I'm not as good in PvE. So definitely needed to happen regardless. I'm glad that it's happening, and I hope they just go all in and make it completely separate. The only problem that they'll have there is having two very separate feeling experiences in PvP and PvE can be a bit difficult to manage, when you're like used to playing one way in PvE and then you go to PvP and you're like, nothing feels like it works here. My powers are so slow, everything. It can just make the game mode feel a little less exciting, which we'll have to see, if it gets to that point.
Kind of wish we had loadouts if they ever went that far. Being able to switch loadouts would be beneficial.
They should be at this point, because at this point your PvP loadout is going to make absolutely no sense in PvE like pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see that. But the idea of tiering and all that, I think, is a great idea. Should have existed a long time. That sort of trade-off of how quickly you get your ability versus how good it is, I think is great. There'll be people who are more ability heavy that maybe choose worse powers just so they can rely on them more and that sort of thing, which I think is really a great idea. But yeah, I'm hoping that the examples that they gave were just sort of like a taste of things to come, not the exact, because obviously like Titans also have a sticky grenade that can use some love. I think Warlocks do too. So, hopefully it's not just those examples, but and the philosophy gets me very excited.
Yeah. They even said at one point somewhere in this giant novel of an article, they did mention that the patch notes are insanely long, so we didn't put everything in here, just because they said that would be a bore. Some people would love to read through twice as long, but I was like, they
Teddy
kept it where it would be. Yeah. So they said these kinds of varied cooldowns and power output should make the game feel more dynamic and give more depth to build crafting, which is what they're leaning into. To make build crafting or cooldowns easier, you'll now be able to see the base cooldown time of your abilities when selecting them on the subclass screen, which is a brand new thing. So if you go to the subclass screen, you choose Chain Lightning for your melee, you can see the base cooldown's a minute 30. You can also see your strength. And just a reminder, the base cooldown is based off of tier 3 on a stat. So that's what the base, so if you're on tier 3, your base is going to match that. If you manage to get underneath that, which is really hard to do accidentally, but if you do manage to get underneath that, you will be under what they consider the base. But that's something that doesn't happen unless you actually try to. They said one of our design goals this year was to reduce the amount of ability spam in Crucible, as we discussed, and put the focus back on gameplay. And they said to this end, we've made the ability cooldown times longer on average than they were before. We don't want the PvE experience to suffer for the sake of PvP balance, though, which is, I read that and I was just insanely excited. Like, that was the biggest thing for me to read, I know. So we've tried to compensate where possible. For example, we've increased all grenade damage versus PvE combatants by 15% or more. And they said this should make their grenades feel bigger and more powerful moments than they do in the game. So I'll be curious to see how that, 15% versus a longer timer, kind of a back and forth. It's one of those things where got to get our hands on it in PvP or PvE, I should say, to see if actually, like, I wish it was up a little more frequently, but they are trying to make the difference of it hitting harder. So we'll just have to see how it goes.
I think that'll be really good. So, for instance, when solo Atheon, the strat is middle tree Solar Titan, because you can do some pretty insane grenade damage stacking. And I think that 15% on that, you'll still, because a lot of that doesn't really matter about your base cooldown. It's a lot of using like the Heart of Inmost Light and a couple other perks on the subclass to get your grenades back like instantly. Also, you get your grenades back instantly, Atheon. Now that's what it is. And so I think that'll be pretty nuts for encounters like that. So yeah.
Salute.
You guys can't see this one if you're listening to audio, but the cat definitely just walked by Skarrow. So
yep.
Giant tail just goes right across the face.
I like that tail ability cooldown.
So one of the other big ones they mentioned is super regeneration changes, and especially for PvP. So they said super energy gain has been almost entirely passive, and this is going to be a big thing for PvP mostly. Your intellect stat dictates how quickly your super regenerates, with few other elements like orbs of power, armor, weapon perks, yada yada yada. This system works well for a long time, but has issues that have grown more obvious as the game has evolved with skill. And basically, it's made a lot of people play very passively at high level PvP, because if you're just waiting on a timer, you want to be alive as long as possible. So your option is usually to play very passively, stay behind cover, and then have those one-off moments where you go off and kill a whole team. So they said to get closer to the goal, they're making some big changes. So in PvE, super uptime should be relatively unchanged for the live game, if not slightly higher. So that's actually a good thing. PvE still not getting hit, keeping them separate. It said everybody should get at least one super in a 6v6 match that goes to the score or time limit as long as they engage in regular combat. If you're getting a lot of kills, you might get 2. That's a thing. Supers should be less frequent in 3v3 modes than in the live game, where 2 supers per match is a fairly regular occurrence. And again, that goes back to the passive. You may play trials and get stomped, but at high level trials, they're very passive unless that objective, like last week, was involved. And then generally you're going to have a tail walk in front of your face. No. I just saw it go like through.
Sorry, what else? Nah, you good. You good, bro.
So they said these modes are about expressing player skill, and we want that skill to be primarily about team coordination, positioning, intelligent use of your abilities, and first and foremost, gunplay, which is what a lot of people for PvP want gunplay to be the focus. While there's absolute skill in outmaneuvering active supers or playing around super uptime, supers in general are purposefully designed to be accessible power fantasies for all players, and that inherently creates asymmetry that we need to account for. Primary weapons should have a noticeable benefit in super energy regeneration. So they said with this new system, we are scaling energy gains up and down granularly based on the source of damage, both outgoing and incoming. So outgoing primary weapon damage has a significantly higher return of super energy per damage point than any other damage type. So I wanted to stop there because that is actually kind of a huge shift when it comes to PvP specifically. What do you guys think on that one? Travis, you're kind of bobbing your head. Where are you at on this? Where are you feeling your PvP world going?
Yeah. I mean, this has been like a kind of elephant in the room in PvP, like even in the Destiny 1 days, like in trials where it's like, all right, I know everybody's going to get their super at the same time. It's not even just in trials, even in normal, like match-made Crucible matches or Iron Banner or whatever. First time you hear somebody pop off a super, you're like, oh God, there's going to be like 9 supers all back to back. I'm going to get killed like 4 times in spawn, and it's just going to be really toxic. And then after all of the dust settles, then it's going to go back to it kind of being like a regular game. And it just, it means that you have to perform extra well in the first half of the match before that craziness hits to kind of build momentum and get your super first. And it's kind of a race to get your super first. So I really like that they're doing this. I do think you should still get your super every match. Like it should happen, but I think based on the super that you have, it taking longer or shorter amount of time, depending on what type of super it is, totally makes sense to me. But I hate the impending, it's the 4th round of trials. Like everybody's going to get super. It's kind of like heavy round, except for way more toxic. And then every round after becomes about like managing who has their super. It's like, all right, well, they've got 2 supers, so let's try to bait them and make them use 1. And it affects so much that I feel like that if they can do something to minimize its impact, or at least kind of get it out at different times depending on the super, that would be amazing. But I have my doubts that they can actually do that, because there's always a meta. There's always like 2 or 3 supers that everyone uses, and it'll essentially just be the exact same thing, except for the one weird guy who has a super that he either gets way earlier or way later. And I could just see it not really fixing a lot. You know what I mean? And then also it'll kind of depend on how optimized you are. The other thing that I worry about is how much is my intellect really going to matter in this meta? It sounds like the impact, because intellect is no longer time-based super.
Armor's becoming more and more useless.
Yeah, exactly.
It could also be a multiplier on, if you get X amount of
that's
super.
What I think they'll do.
Yeah.
That's what I think they'll do. I think if like you have higher intellect, every time you get shot at or do damage, you'll get more of percentage. But I have a feeling the way that they're talking about it, the importance of intellect is really going to be minimized, because I just don't see it. Because then the solution would be easy, right? Everyone would have 100 int, and it would bring us back to the exact same problem we have now. So I think no matter what happens, at least in PvP, your attributes are going to get nerfed a little bit, specifically the intellect one. So I have my concerns about it. I think it's going to take a while to get this fixed, even if it can even be fixed. But I'm glad they're addressing it, because at least in PvP, it's just sucked for a really long time, that whole super problem. So
yeah. One thing I'm worried about, Bungie has a history of forgetting to make sure that non-player things don't count. So like Telesto bolts, environmental things, Stasis Crystals, Titan Barricades. So I'm worried that you can just like unload into a Titan barricade and have your super, you know?
Mhm.
I doubt that's
Yeah.
the case, but
I
there's
was thinking that.
always a chance.
I mean,
with
you
this
can
sort of
doubt
stuff.
it, but the way things have been going, things keep getting missed. Like we've,
Yeah.
you know, they've given us some good stories and buggy seasons. So
That's the first thing I'm doing. Bring Telesto in, shoot my own Telesto bolts, insta super. You know,
Yeah.
like it's like
Yeah.
I mean,
so I
do
I
that
don't know.
every round. That's going to stack up pretty quick.
yeah. So I don't. It's just a slight concern. Hopefully, I didn't give anyone any ideas, but
You definitely did.
Yeah.
they're shooting. But yeah, we'll
you
see.
good,
We'll
good.
see.
Cog,
Yeah, this is
any
love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. This is great. With high level play, especially, you know, you play trials, and I just remember dudes in the back of the map just deep chilling, waiting for that ability to go up, bro. And I'm just like, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, this is great. You know, engagement. They're
Come on,
rewarding.
man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, come on, bro. Like, I love the rewarding of engagement and non-passive play. And what I like is also skilled players are going to benefit. Skilled players that are actively engaging and getting their kills off and stuff like that, you know, should benefit. And I feel that that's how it should be. You know what I mean? So this is a great change because the uniformity of everyone having their super at the same time is kind of what used to annoy me. Like what Travis said, there's always that point of the match where you're like in a 6v6 or 3v3. All right, guys, this is the round. All right,
everybody's super up. Yeah.
Everybody's super up. And then what would be so frustrating, you take so long to get it. And then when you finally get it, to get killed by someone else's super. So
Yep.
you really don't get the efficiency of utilization of the super. And this is good stuff. I was shocked by this. I was like, okay. Now, granted, to Skarrow's point, we got to watch out with the doing damage to oneself
Yep.
and to see how dudes are going to try to finesse that if possible, you know.
Finesse.
But-
That's a cute word.
Exactly.
I mean, also in like PVE, if you have an overload champion, you just sit there and shoot them endlessly. Like, does that?
Yeah.
right.
So
So-
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to
that's
see the
interesting.
trade off with incoming damage. That's the
Yeah.
only thing we're gonna have to
Yeah.
watch. But yeah, E, what you got, man? What was your thoughts when this kind of came across your
No,
timeline?
I mean, it definitely feels like a big shift because you do take a point to where everybody cares about the cooldown timer. Yeah, you'll get some when you get a kill, but it's like it says the incoming and outgoing damage. So I think it gives more people an opportunity, even if they're getting stomped on, to get theirs in a little bit more of a quicker fashion as well. Because the idea of if you can put some damage in, or you're getting the assists half the time, or whatever it may be, or you're just getting destroyed, whatever it is, you have a better chance at getting some of those things up, and then they break it into tiers, which we'll get into in a second. But the idea, just the fact that it's more based around the damage, and I think it's more the idea, if it is executed correctly outside of everything you guys have worries about, hopefully they've thought of that. If not, you have 3 months, guys, figure it out.
Yes, please.
Figure it out before Witch Queen, at least. That's the important one. But if they can figure that out, then it does really like promote the use of those primary guns. It does make me wonder about specials, though, like where they weight special kills. Like our sniper's not going to be as effective when it comes to getting that super up. If you can get 2 quick picks or anything, but you don't get as much, you know, super out of it, is more advantageous to use a scout and get those long range picks because you'll get your super energy faster. I don't know if that will have
Probably
much of
damage done, right?
Yeah,
not
that's what I think
hits.
as well.
Yeah.
So like a sniper shot does like 150 damage or whatever.
Yeah.
So you get 150 damage. But I'm also kind of worried about though on the flip side of that, if you have a guy that's just hitting bodies and you're not team shotting it, are you just giving the other team super? Like,
Yeah,
That's the other thing. I was wondering, like, also because you get super for taking damage. So
Yes.
if I'm in PvE and I'm trying to get my super back, it actually benefits me to shoot a guy while also taking as much damage as possible without dying. So I kind of like want to stay in there. All right, hit me a couple
mix.
times. All right,
Live and
walk through some
grenades.
grenades.
Yeah.
Please come shatter dive me.
Yeah, exactly.
Walk through some barricade shield.
Yeah, exactly.
I almost have my super. If somebody could just shoulder charge me real quick and not kill me,
that'd be great.
that would be great.
We gotta
And then I
see.
can use my
we'll
super.
I
get
did
to
wanna
that,
say-
by the way.
Okay. I know. I did want to say though, I do like the primary weapon focus because I think a previous TWAB we started to see them trying to reward primary play in PvE by like getting exotic ammo drops. What was it, scavengers or whatever it was, or not scavenger, the one that drops the brick in the head,
Ammo finder.
ammo finder. And I was like, oh, it increases when you use the primary, and you see this continued primary focus. So that part about it I like, because let's be real, in PvP, you're using that special a lot for the one hit kill potential,
Yep.
you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. So it's good to see primary get a little bit of push out, but we do got to see how it's balanced.
Yeah. That being said, supers, they have separated them into cooldown tiers, and they affect both passive regeneration as well as the damage-based regeneration. So you will have both passive and damage-based, but there's going to be a tier system to this. And they said they've taken into account general potency of the subclass kits where possible. For example, later on we'll discuss Shatter Dive and changes we're making, which will impact how effective the Revenant Hunter is in the neutral game. It's also important to stress that this is the first iteration of the system, where any given super will fall into recharge rate tiers will change over time as they continue tuning. One very specific example they live down below. So they have the fastest regeneration is tier 5. Slowest regeneration is tier 1. So I'm going to list these things off. Fastest regeneration is Well of Radiance. That is the only tier 5 right now. I am going to just skip to the bottom, and then we'll say when Void 3.0 launches in February, so you got about a 3-month wait on this one. Ward of Dawn, being as it's going to have the aspect and fragment thing going on, Ward of Dawn will be bumped up to a tier 5. So those two supports, come Witch Queen, will be sitting in tier 5, at least those two. Tier 4, Blade Barrage and Silence and Squall. Those are the only two for tier 4, both hunters. Tier 3, Shadow Shot, Burning Maul, Arc Staff, Nova Bomb, and Thunder Crash. Some of those are singles. Some of those are, kind of intermixed in between. Tier 2, getting on the slower end now. Golden Gun, Chaos Reach, Nova Warp, Storm Trance, Daybreak, and Sentinel Shield. And the slowest of all of them is Tier 1. You've got Spectral Blades, Winter's Wrath, and then Fist of Havoc, Hammer of Soul, and Glacial Quake. So
I will say,
for you guys, I was just going to say, any outliers? Where do you guys think these fall? Any bad choices? Any good choices?
Trav, you about to say something?
Thunder Crash is what, a tier 3?
Yes, it's dead in the middle.
Yeah, actually, that sounds about right. I was gonna take issue with that one, but no, that sounds about right.
I was just gonna say Titans have 3 of them at tier 1, and I'm just like, really?
But
Titans
that's
have
we have
some
so many roaming
great
supers.
roaming supers. Yeah.
Okay, Glacial Quake
Yeah.
should not be a tier 1. That
Well,
I'll give you
They talked about it.
Buff for
It's good.
PvE.
PvE.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. That's
yeah,
fair.
I was like, for
PvE.
PvP, Glacial Quake is no bueno. Fist of Havoc, Hammer of Soul, I get those, sure. Spectral Blades, yep. Winter's Wrath, insanely powerful as well. Those I get. I was just like, of the roamers, I was just like, Glacial Quake, can that at least be tier 2? It's not great.
I feel like Sentinel Shield isn't that great either, but the way I'm looking at it is this is where they want them to be, right?
Right.
Like ideally, these tier 1s are all really good roaming supers, and you only get them every once in a while, but now that they're making you wait longer before you get them, they can afford to make them a little better. So they'll probably buff Sentinel Shield and hopefully Glacial Quake in PvP with this rollout. But yeah, right now, obviously, who the heck is going to use Sentinel Shield if it has the longest wait time and it's not very good to begin with?
Well,
Right.
to play devil's advocate there, Sentinel Shield can duel any super in the entire game. The middle
That's true.
tree. Middle tree is like the best super dueling super. What I was thinking is Well of Radiance, I think this screams is getting a nerf. The fact that it's so fast, especially in PvE, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I guess it depends what the separation between the tiers is. I'm kind of going at maybe a 15-second base or something.
Yeah.
Separation, but Well of Radiance is still one of the most busted PvE supers, and it's so weird that they gave it its own tier if they're not nerfing it. So
It's definitely coming.
The only thing I
coming.
can think is also you've got Ward of Dawn, and they're the only 2 support supers. They're not offensive, so they're your only 2 support supers, and they're okay with more of the support side, especially in both PvP or PvE, because you're not just clearing a room, you're giving you damage, but you've still got to kill stuff with your weapon. So then they're benefiting the weapon damage and that promotion versus because I'll go in right now, because I'll go bottom tree, because I've been running just the Nightfalls this week, the double drops just on Matchmade if I got nothing to do. Drops in there are crazy, by the way. I'll get 5 cores, 2 prisms, and 1 Nightfall on Hero. Go do those if you need a few. But for bottom tree hammers, when the waves of all the ads come out on Hollowed Lair, I'll literally just sit on one side of the stairs and I can clear an entire wave by myself on that one. So that one always feels really good, as opposed to something like Bubble when I'm just going to sit in the back and shoot all the guys. Yeah, if that one comes up quicker, that's probably okay. Especially for the Bubble, I would say more under a boss, they want you even in resilience even more. So to get the benefit out of those, you got to kind of lean a little more into the stats. I don't know. As they're the only 2 support, I kind of get it. I guess we'll see if it's like abused horribly, which it likely will be, but we'll have to see. Most of it seems to make sense. Like the tier 4's Blade Barrage, that's a one-off. But that one has like personally more spread than say a Thunder Crash. The Thunder Crash.
I'm surprised Thunder Crash was at 3, but
yeah. Silence and Squall, that one, not the best super in the world, more of just kind of area effect. Golden Gun at tier 2, Chaos Reach at tier 2. Nova Warp is actually getting a buff, which is why that one's probably going to change. Daybreak, Sentinel Shield. A lot of these seem not too bad. Burning Maul just better get a buff sometime soon. Burning Maul is just trash most of the time, so that one just needs a little love. Cog, what about you and the Warlocks? Any outliers? You think these are reasonable for you? Where are you at?
I think they're mostly reasonable. I think I was like Skarrow. I was like, all right, well, ratings are getting that fast, interesting. Maybe to promote PvP play. But it's interesting because I was looking at Storm, Trance, Chaos Reach, and Nova Warp, all in the same kind of spot. And I just thought that was interesting. Nova Warp we get as a roaming super and Storm Trance as well. It's interesting the way they grouped all of them together, you know, say kind of thing. But I'm not going to say like right now I'm pissed off or anything like that. There's anything that looks super egregious to me right now. I'm just like, yo, this look crazy. I just got to wait and see. I got to see how it plays out. Plus, we do know another reason why I don't want to go too crazy because of Void 3.0. I want to see how the fragments and stuff are going to play out because a lot of stuff, these are just like baselines as far as I'm concerned. And I think a lot of stuff can really affect that once we start playing around with those aspects and stuff. So, you know, the jury's still out, but it is interesting.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, as they said, Ward of Dawn with the Void 3.0 is going to bump that specific super up to tier 5. So when Void 3.0 comes in, this whole list may get a big shift depending on where everything falls, at least specifically the Void ones. We'll have to see where that stuff lands.
I'm super interested how they do that, by the way, because like, you know, with the aspect and fragment, we have one super with all of those. So how are they gonna keep all 3 variations? Are they gonna make each of the variations like maybe different fragments, or whatever?
I mean, my hope would be, because right now you just have like on the Stasis, you've got your grenade, your melee, your super, but you just would have drop down super options would be a hope.
Is there a drop down super for Stasis?
No, but it has a node for the super, right? Like it has, like
it has a place for it. It's not a node, but they could I always wondered this because Luke Smith said at the very beginning, like, oh, if we made the light subclasses, we'd have to choose a super, and I'm like, why? Like, there's plenty of room on the screen.
Yeah.
For you
Well, then later on they said that wasn't going to be a thing, so he did. That got walked back.
But I wondered why that was ever even like a thing, because that it seems to me like pretty obvious. Like you have a drop down super, and then only certain aspects and fragments can be equipped if they work with that super.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like it seems kind of easy to me.
Yeah, some will get grayed out if it doesn't work with like a throwing hammer or a throwing knife. Like you could tweak some certain ways. I could see that. Yeah,
I could see that.
So next thing that we got is going to be taking it down a notch. They said their goals for the PvP combat sandbox is as follows. Weapons they want, and this is what they want. It's not where they are. And that's what they clearly state. So take that. Weapons are the primary way players engage with combat. Non-super abilities accentuate or augment the combat, but should rarely solve an encounter by themselves. Abilities have clear strengths, weaknesses, and counterplay. Build crafting is rewarded with the moment-to-moment combat loop of Destiny. They said that's what they want them to be, but they are not there yet. In general, ability uptime in Crucible is far too high. So they said they've tuned PvE energy regeneration separately from their base PvE values, which they are not changing. So PvE, like ability regeneration, not getting touched. PvP, that's where most of these changes that we're going to list are going to be what we're talking about. Part of it as well, they mentioned subclass neutral game perks. They said these perks have had their ability regeneration reduced by about 50% in PvP. Again, not PvE. We targeted perks that can either activate out of combat with a single button press, or those that were returning amounts of ability energy that were significantly out of band. Whisper of Shards, Stasis Fragment, Arc Web, Stormcaller Warlock, Rising Storm, Stormcaller Warlock, Ionic Trace, Stormcaller Warlock, Electric Surge, Stormcaller Warlock.
Seems to be a pattern.
That was like a beating there. Aftershock, Strike Your Titan, Inertia Override, Strike Your Titan, Benevolent Dawn, Dawnblade Warlock, Practice Makes Perfect, Gunslinger Hunter, and Dark Matter, Void Walker Warlock.
Yeah.
There's a few Warlock changes there. How you feeling, Cock?
I mean, I mean, I think Skarrow, ionic traces, I definitely agree with. Like, I mean, we knew there was. This is going to come if the gameplay is about reducing ability spam and regeneration. All that stuff feeds back when little traces run to me on the floor and give me back, some of my abilities. I knew that, it was time. It was time. So I'm not too crazy. It's just funny to see the Stormcaller get lambasted like this, but there is truth to it. There is some truth to it. A lot of this stuff is a cycle of energy regeneration that they got to control. So I get it. I get it. I don't have to like it, but I get it.
I mean, they went after certain ones. You have the ability regeneration of the Stormcaller. You got the Striker Titan with its abilities to and also the Super, which they touch in a second as well. But yeah, I was pretty heavy on a couple. They also say super subclass in super perks. Those perks scale down injury returns as you get kills in your super, i.e. the first kill gets you a lot of super energy. The more you kill, the less you get back. So they eventually kind of have, deterioration there. No change has been made to the refund decay against PvE combatants. They plastered that everywhere because if they didn't, they were going to get questions about everything. So I appreciate it. Said Everlasting Fire with Dawnblade Warlock and Trample with Striker Titans both.
I cannot believe Golden Gun 6-shot isn't on here, where you get more shots the more kills you get.
I forgot
in
about
PvP. That would because that's how people would get I've seen 7s go off, the 7th columns with those.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it needs it, but I also wouldn't say that Everlasting Dawnblade's the worst super in PvP. I'm convinced. It's so not the subclass. The subclass is fine. The super itself is mid at best. And I don't think it needs this nerf more than Golden Gun, but that's just me. But it is, once again, we don't know how significant the change is. I'll be very interested to see, what it actually is in the game. So we'll see.
And then also with regards to exotics, we have the Frosties. No longer stacks multiplicatively in PvP with other generation buffs. It is now an additive scaler. Heart of Inmost Light, ability regeneration scalers to 50% in PvP. Controverse hold. Duration of the grenade regeneration buff is no longer random between 1 and 4 seconds. It's now a fixed duration, but it was typically seen about 1 second, so it's now going to be a fixed 1.75, so it's a little longer. Doomfang Pauldrons reduce super energy gain on activation, so you get to by about 50%. Shinobu's Vow, reduce grenade energy gain hits on players by 66%. That's pretty substantial. Crown of Tempest, grenade melee super energy regeneration scalar buff reduced from 7 seconds down to 4. And the Stag, reduced class ability energy refund on shield break by 50%. None of that touches PvE, just so you guys are aware.
Yeah, that's fair. Especially, I know my Stag locks.
Oh my God, you guys are everywhere in PvP. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Especially Trials.
Yes.
You see those horns peeking out from behind cover? It's I'm not going anywhere near that.
Here's the cover, and then here's this poof. It's I can see about the third of the well.
The circle?
Just a little bit of the well.
And you see dudes diving in each other.
It's bobbing back and forth. Here you go. Everybody's got their little arc buddy up here on their little shoulder. And they got their little archangel
on deck. Oh, yeah, that was a build, bro. I had them arc snitches on deck, and everybody stepping inside the little kiddie pool, getting the little damage reduction.
Oh my God.
Let's go, baby. I was super toxic. I am not even gonna lie to you.
Oh, it's so awful. Yeah, so annoying. It's nice when it's on your team. When it's on the other one, you're kill me now. Just get it out.
Oh yeah.
But overall, I mean, again, these are not PvE changes. So if you want to use your Doomfang Pauldrons to have infinite shield throws, shout out to Newrad in chat. He sent me a video where a dude had a 2-hour video of the super of the Doomfang Pauldrons super in a throwaway, just kept chunking his shield, and it lasted for 2 hours, and it was just
wow.
But you can still do that. So just FYI, PvE is not getting touched. Just wanted to say that one. So, armor mods. Also, again, if you stack these things up, it can get a little ridiculous. So they're basically chopping these down by about 50%. Melee kickstart, grenade kickstart, utility kickstart, perpetuation, bolstering detonation, focusing strike, bomber, outreach, dynamo, distribution, momentum transfer, and impact induction. So a lot of those mods where you use an ability, you get ability energy back. You use melee, you get some grenade energy. All of those are going to be giving you less in PvP again. Are there any of these mods that you guys crutch heavy on that you have like builds based around when you're like, oh man, that's gonna kind of hurt? Do you guys have any of these that you think about? What's up? You shaking your head, Cog?
Oh, they out here blowing up my whole build. Like like it's bad for me. Like all my little toxicity has been broken. I used to run double bomber. I used to do all type of stuff for grenade, regeneration, then use what's the snitch exotic? Getaway artist. I had a flow where my discipline was so high, bro. I was always having it. It was bad. Like
welcome to the gunplay, Cog. Welcome to the gunplay.
Yeah. Listen to the not so good guys gotta overcompensate in other areas. Hey, I admit it. That was my formula for subpar PvP play. I gotta try to get better now.
Oh man. The only one I see is Dynamo. A lot of times people crutch like double Dynamo to get like their supers a lot, so that'll be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I keep wondering if there's any of these that I'm not paying attention to with regards to like dodges, because whatever hunters can use to get their dodges up quicker, I know they're using. I just don't know which one of these is actually that one. But yeah, hunter dodge is a whole topic.
Chav, you wasn't using any of those filthy mods? You wasn't down with that?
Titans don't need supers. We are the super, bro.
Oh my god.
I don't need it. Whatever.
You need none of that.
Skarrow's over there with like confused eyes. He's like, I'm sorry.
Well, because if they're nerfing the super and they're nerfing the ability, then you're just the same with a different jump. It's like,
but I can still melee.
oh,
It's not a one-hit kill anymore.
there you go.
No, I honestly, I never really abused any of the ability stuff.
Yeah.
I used it when I could, but to be honest, most of the Titan abilities aren't great. Like,
Well,
we don't have any grenades. That
I
are
mean,
super
so one example that I've heard for, say, Trials is Sight and Ramparts, 100 Resilience, and double Utility to have that wall, that shoot-through wall up, like, all the time. Like, that's the type of stuff I've seen. Same thing would be happening.
I only use that in PvE, really.
Titans? Oh, in PvP, it's...
Titans Rampart. Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying for that thing.
Yeah,
that and
I can see that.
A lot of Titans crutch suppressor nades as well. So any of these that affect grenade regeneration will affect that. I'm sort of wondering where that grenade is going to sit in terms of the timer, because they haven't told us what the timer differences are going to be for that one. I'm wondering where that one sits, because you almost never see people use it. So I wonder if they'll give it like a shorter cooldown than it ought to have.
It would be nice.
It can be pretty abusive, dude.
Yeah. That's like the highest like skill stealing grenade in the game. But when you get people that are banking that stuff, is just like
shut down a super with a little grenade. You're like, oh.
If there's any ability I have abused, it's that one. So I'll be interested to see where that goes. But that said, I don't do anything today to like make sure I get it back quicker, because I kind of don't have to. Like you get it back quick enough as it is. So if they nerf that, I'll be interested to see how it changes things. But yeah, I haven't used Sight and Ramparts in a really long time. I used it for like a month and I was really on it, but I've just been using Antaeus Ward recently. I've been killing hunters with their own knives, dude. It's such a great feeling. So
messing with people with the off meta fun, always a good time.
Yeah.
So the next thing we've got a change on is Stasis Crystals. To no surprise.
Thank God.
Anybody been waiting on this one? It's been a minute.
Are they taking it out of the game yet?
If you have Xbox Game Pass, it's taken out of the game.
True, yeah.
We'll get to that. That's a whole topic.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
The worst part of the crystals is how big and annoying they are. You can't see anything behind them. I hate
obstruction,
that part.
And they talk about that too. That was crazy.
Yeah. So Stasis Crystals do a lot. As you just said, on top of freezing players when they're created, they also block line of sight, block movement, and act as explosive barrels. It's all a bit too much for PvP. With this release, Stasis Crystals will now slow players instead of freezing them, and they also do much less damage to players when they detonate. So basically what they're doing to Stasis Crystals is as follows. While forming Stasis Crystals now slow nearby players instead of freezing them. They will still freeze in PvE, so keep that in mind. Increase slow/freeze radius by about 0.75 meters. Reduce crystal detonation damage versus players by about 55%. Pour one out for Shatter Dive. We'll get to that in a second. Ooh. Increased crystal detonation damage versus PvE combatants by 60%. and increase crystal detonation radius by 2 meters as well. So you will get slowed and hurt from a little farther, but it's not going to kill you. It's the biggest thing. I have to read this into the... I'm going to come back to the dodge in a second because Revenant ties a little bit more into the stasis stuff. So they said, you guessed it, the stasis crystal changes detail earlier mean that Hunter's Revenant Shadow Dive will now almost never kill a full health Guardian. They said if they're using Whisper of Fissures, Touch of Winter, and the target is at the very center of all 6 crystals, technically you can kill him, but they said it's extremely rare. So Shadow Dive is much less lethal versus players due to the stasis crystal damages, but they did make it much more lethal versus combatants due to stasis crystal changes, and they increased the shatter damage versus frozen PvE combatants by 100%. Doubled it. So if you actually use that thing in PvP now, it's definitely going to be hitting pretty hard. And they also increased the aspect... PvE, sorry. They increased the aspect slots on Grim Harvest by 1 more. So, yeah, Revenants didn't have too much happen, but yeah, Shatter Dive and PvP, basically they took outside and shot it, I think. Pretty close.
Good.
I mean, is there anything I missed there?
About time.
Double
Good
tap
riddance.
it, Bungie. That's all I ask.
Right.
Double
2 to the
tap
chest,
it.
1 to the head.
Yeah.
What is that movie? Collateral. Well, Tom Cruise does that all the time.
It's about time. Whew.
I don't. Yeah, nobody's sad. We don't have hunters right now, so nobody is sad about this.
Well, they already made it. They already nerfed it for Titans. Remember, for a while, Titans were sliding through their crystals, and that was like the meta. But they made that subclass so bad that nobody uses it for Titans anyway. So I felt like I lost it, and hunters got to keep it. Yep. So now I'm like, good. I'm glad nobody's gonna have it because that was my move for a long time when Stasis was out there being as toxic as hell. But yeah, this is so long overdue.
Only took a year. Who's ready for final shape so we can do it again? Yes.
Let's go.
Yeah, when do you think we're gonna get that green subclass in what is it, Lightfall?
Lightfall. Yeah, final shapes after that. I forgot.
Yep.
Yeah. Lightfall.
I think we might get it in between.
Major
releases.
Do you think they would put that in a season?
They wanted to hype it up, they were like Kingsfall returning, and you get a new subclass.
Okay, the only way we're getting the green sub, and I say green, whatever the next color it is, green, black, who knows, purple, or whatever, is if we have either a season of the Drifter or a season of the Worthy on deck, and they're like, we got to do something to make this season better. We're going to give them a new subclass. Other than that, I don't see that until a expansion because
it's also possible that they're lying to us about it not being the Witch Queen, because there were so many credible leaks about that, so many of them.
I mean, that would be such a big marketing thing, though.
But this is Bungie, not Activision. If it was Activision, I'd agree with you. But Bungie has always said we're not afraid to lose sales so that we can keep things a surprise, and they did it with Dreaming City.
I mean, it is
lose sales. They killed Cade in the marketing. Yep.
you won't let it go.
That's a good point.
They did that, but they didn't. They did keep secrets. They don't tell certain things about the game.
And that's fair. But I was like, I don't know. That's just one of those. I think by now we would be hearing.
Yeah, I think you'd be right.
I hope you're right. I just want to put that out there. If they can pull off a secret like that,
of course.
Can we at least agree that there's going to be 3 elements in the kinetic slot in the primary slot?
I mean, it feels like it.
Like they've set that up. They basically telegraphed it, right?
Yeah,
so
for sure.
There's going to be 2 more, and we also know that it would be really weird if the light and dark saga ended and they were still deploying new elements. That just seems a little off to me. I can see them taking the next year to get all the light classes. I was like, up and then build 2 more, but I don't know.
The pandemic has changed some plans, I'm sure, but still,
possibly. Yeah, you could be right about that. And also, I guess you've made the same argument about there's no way that they would introduce a new enemy type.
Yes.
In the darkness at the last year. And I think I made the exact opposite argument I'm making now, where I'm like, oh, well, Destiny's going to continue. Destiny 2 even is going to continue past the Darkness and Light saga, so they're actually building on something. So yeah, maybe I'm wrong, but I still don't know if I fully believe that. I don't take them at their word when they say it's not in the game, because everybody is just taking them at their word.
Sports, it's in the game.
The only reason that those rumors stopped is because somebody said at Bungie that it's not in the game. That's the only reason.
I think a lot of it is fluid too. They may have internal plans that they may have initially said, hey, we wanted to have that ready for Witch Queen. But I think usually with the subclasses and stuff like that, they kind of use it as like a bullet point for expansion and marketing when you're getting ready to sell it. Like,
but it's so hivey, Cog. It's so hivey.
I was like, it is. Well, no, I mean, that's the thing is that I think they wanted to and they flat said they couldn't. And also, I think at some point they had to make a shift from creating something brand new during working at home times versus
just fixing what they
subclass 3.0ing everything else that we've got to get the aspects and fragments in there.
And with everything that it seems to be doing as far basically what we're learning with this TWAB is they've been able to behind the hood separate PvE and PvP. And I think that's probably been more of an undertaking than maybe we think. And other things may have been pushed down that little bulletin board, so to speak, of what they have for the future.
I would also rather than fix the light subclasses first than start introducing new ones.
Absolutely.
That's always bothered me is that it just feels so unequal now. Like every season you're getting new fragments for the stasis subclasses that nobody uses. The Titans don't use them anymore. So it's just that feels weird. I'm glad they're fixing them.
I will be curious as that has been one of the things for Stasis that has been kind of a little nugget every season. We're going to get Void 3.0 with the Witch Queen. And we know that's going to give us, obviously, the shift to the aspects and the fragments. But are they going to, dump everything into that season for Void altogether? Or are they going to, trickle those things out? Because they said, the next season after we'll have Solar 3.0. And the one after that's going to have Arc 3.0. However that goes. I mean, are they going to trickle them or is it just dump? And don't take that. Don't clip that out of context, please.
4 for each in their respective season, and then the last season is gonna get a couple for each one.
That would make sense.
So I bet it'll be here's your initial batch. Maybe they'll add 1 or 2 the following season or whatever. But I think
one more thing about them possibly lying about the new subclass.
Oh,
they've actually done this before. They lied about the subclasses that were going to be in Destiny 2. And I know that because there were a ton of leaks because people accidentally, remember the third subclass, so for Titan, the hammers, and for Warlocks, all that, they got introduced into the Taken King. And then when they were putting out Destiny 2, they were acting like the subclasses in the Taken King weren't in the game. And that it was just going to be Void and Arc for the Titans. And basically the Taken King subclasses were getting removed. But they hid them in the game using that secret mission where you go and talk to the seed. And I was doing the review for that game and they were like, guys, you cannot talk about the subclasses from the Taken King, pretend they're not in the game. And then a whole bunch of European outlets didn't acknowledge it and put out all that crap early. And everybody was like, oh my God, they're in the game. But they did lie about it. They said that it was not going to be in the game. And then they put it in the game secretly.
What if there is no Void 3.0? And there's only a new darkness subclass.
That would be so disappointing.
That would be the biggest bait and switch ever. Well, as we have a question in chat from a celebrity, previous guest, I did want to point it out. Shout out to Mr. Tom Warren of The Verge, previous guest. Thank you, sir. But it was kind of a fitting question. We'll get to in a second that the TWAB basically states the middle tree subclasses will disappear for Xbox Game Pass hosts who haven't purchased Forsaken, but Forsaken is going free, as we're literally in the middle of the subclass talk. We'll get to the Game Pass whole discussion. That's going to be the end of this. But I wanted to ask you guys about that subclass piece as we're literally in the middle of it. How do you guys think that's going to work now? And then especially it's free and then Forsaken's going to be gone. Come Witch Queen. Are they just, do you have to buy the Forsaken pack for what do you guys think is going to happen there? Because that's not a great look.
So this stuff like this has happened before. You're basically going to have to go to the Xbox store and click get for free and add it to your list of entitlements. And then it'll just give it back to you.
Yeah.
But if you don't do that, it won't just be there by default.
But what about, they're going to have the Forsaken pack though, to be able to do the raid, to be able to do the dungeon. That's going to be a thing that they're still selling after Forsaken goes free. There's that Forsaken pack. So I
guess it's getting taken out of what is in Forsaken and put in that pack.
So now
that's
part
way
of
worse.
the Forsaken campaign was getting those, right? Or is the post campaign? I think in the Dreaming
part
City.
Of the raid, right?
I don't.
Yeah, you get one of the seeds through the raid, but I think they added a new way to get it that is the blind
there were
well.
different seeds. Blind well was one. Yeah, the blind well tier 3. That was one of them for sure. And that would still be there. So it's are you going to have to buy the Forsaken pack to
That's a good point.
Go get your blind well tier 3 subclasses?
Yeah, how did they word it? Were they just like the Forsaken campaign will be free? Because if they said that, they kind of like lawyer talked their way out of it.
Verbiage out of it, if that's the case. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was only
I'll
the
try to
campaign.
hunt it
Yeah,
down.
the campaign was going free.
If it's just the campaign going free, then yeah, the subclasses would be taken out because that was not part of the campaign. That was like endgame.
Yeah, we're going to get to that
they're
discussion in a
gonna
little
sell
bit.
it separately in a pack.
But I will definitely say, yeah, Tom, I don't like what we think is going to happen with this pack, but I will definitely say, yeah, it's not a great look, and we'll get to that. But if it's what we're guessing, yeah, not a fan.
All right, and I now have a theory for what the third subclass is going to be.
Oh my god,
Stasis and Vapor.
What's your theory now?
There we go.
It's going to be silver.
Oh, there it is.
Silver subclass.
Silver subclass.
You can only get it by purchasing it through Eververse using silver, and you unlock it, and all of your abilities are like money based. You like can shoot quarters at people, and you can like wrap them in a whip of like $100 bills and yank them.
But it's like an arcade machine where it's like insert quarter to do your super.
You have to pay every time you use your super.
You can either do your subscription model, or you can have your playtime cards that you can put your code in for another 4 hours of playtime for the subclass.
Yeah,
I can't.
You have to, every grenade is a nickel. They just
Sanity said glimmer. Yeah, your bullets are your glimmer, so they're very expensive. Every shot counts.
And when you have the subclass equipped, your character has a top hat and a monocle as part of their outfit. Just
oh my god!
So
yeah,
it's
all
capitalism
it says here,
as a super. What would be closer to darkness than that?
You're out of control. You're messy. Would you say, Skarrow?
We're getting real meta in here. Sorry.
There you go. I tracked down where they were the actual blog post about vaulting, and it's just all it says: the Forsaken campaign will be available for free for all players from December 7th until it enters the DCV in February, and then the Forsaken packs right after that, where it's like the exotics and stuff. I would bet my liver right now that the supers are going to be part of the Forsaken pack for sure.
I think you're right. Yeah.
That is. Oh god, that hurts. That is so old. It should just be free. What?
Isn't there an achievement tied to getting your subclasses, like the newer subclasses when I think Forsaken came out? Wasn't there an achievement to getting like all of them? I'm pretty sure it was.
I mean, I would guess.
No, I have no idea. That's
okay. That's going to be interesting. Just go purchase it and then you're good to go.
It might be like you purchase it and it gives you the seeds of light, and then you have to go turn them
work
in
it out.
or whatever.
Yep.
Well, I guess if Dreaming City's staying, yeah, you can still do that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or what? I forget how that works. Do you just claim it
in Eververse?
Probably.
Yeah, the season you buy from the store.
It'll probably be the same thing as the 30th anniversary, where it's like on the director and you can buy it.
Yeah,
that would be a
because you can buy the season passes with silver as well. So I would imagine it's done that way.
Yes. Yep.
All
right. We'll get to the rest of this.
You already own it, so
yeah, we'll get to the rest of this discussion at the bottom.
Destiny should be free. It's a game as a service. It should be free, a free game.
Anywho.
Especially after 2 years.
Oh, that's the age on it. Put a pin in this. We'll get to it.
Yes. Go move forward. Go.
I'm trying. Anywho, Hunters. We already covered Shatter Dive, but this is kind of what I wanted to ask you guys about to see what you guys think. Dodge. And this is going to be kind of an interesting one. In order to meet our goal of less ability spam in Crucible, we're reducing how often Hunters can dodge. Gambler's Dodge is getting hit the hardest here because it can completely circumvent melee ability cooldown times. It also completely changes the Hunter silhouette in PvP, making it very powerful. In addition, Hunter dodges will no longer break projectile tracking, meaning it's less of a get out of jail free card when tracking rocket or other slow moving projectile flying towards you. So, no longer breaking projectiles, the Marksman's Dodge at tier 10 will have the cooldown increased from 11 to 14 seconds. Not that big at tier 10. Base cooldown is unchanged. So, not a big change to Marksman's. Gambler's Dodge tier 10 is up to 18 seconds, so 7 seconds longer. Shout out to my dogs. Base cooldown duration from 29 seconds to 38 seconds. So, they are extending the dodge. I mean, it's 7 seconds. Depending on how you're stacking it up. But I wanted to see if you guys think, my honest, playing against Hunters in PvP for me is one of those where I'm like, yeah, you guys dodge a lot. It's really annoying. You can go invisible on top of that. You get your melee back. You get your reloads. it is a frustrating thing to play against. I get it. Now, granted, it is their thing. I have a wall, so I've always felt a bit pigeonholed. You guys have a healing rift or an empowering rift. I have a wall. And then they can dodge, get their health. Like, so again, the hunter dodge for me was always rough. But I was actually going to ask.
The Titans and Warlocks are just laughing right now.
I have a wall. This guy.
I'm not biased at all.
Though. I mean, would anybody argue that the Titan class ability isn't by far the worst? Like, without a doubt, the worst one.
Yeah.
Would anybody make that argument? You know how I know it's the worst one? Because there's only one exotic that is about the class ability, Sight and Rampart. Every other class, like half of their exotics are like, oh, now your dodge does this, or your well does this. And Titans, it's like
Capri Horn. Where you shoot out the firewall.
I have literally never used Capri's Horn.
I've never even equipped it. Literally, I think
unless it's unless it's a nuke in front of that wall, it is not worth it. I promise you.
Yeah, part of other Titan exotics, the intrinsic perk is that this perk doesn't even make you think about your class ability. That's part of its benefit, is that you don't have to think about how bad your wall is. So I'm just glad that that some of the other classes are at least getting some hate if our walls can't get
I would like to point out that here it doesn't say it's not getting hit in PvE.
That was my one actual main question. I was like, I may not like facing them in PvP, but in PvE, hunters can be kind of squishy because that is their kind of defense to get out of it. And I was wondering if you guys thought, will this make because, I mean, they do their invis dodges, stuff like that. I mean, and that's kind of a whole thing. Do you guys think this is going to be detrimental for PvE stuff for hunters?
I think it'll make solo GMs a lot harder. I haven't done the math on it, but crutching double coyotes with double dodges is the way to do that. And it'll be really interesting to see how that works. The other dodge build is Top Tree Arcstrider with Liar's Handshake, but that exotic I think gives you your dodge back immediately on a melee kill, or that subclass does, one of the two, and so I think that'll circumvent this change. I think it'll be very interesting though.
Yeah, man, there's gonna be a lot of salty hunters with this one, man. Like PvP, that was the crutch, bro. You throw something at them, they do that little roll and they out, and the tracking got broke. Yeah, I mean, there's a little part of me that empathize just a little bit because of that's all they do.
They still have stompies, dude. Don't.
True. They got stompies, right? But there's a part of me that is always annoyed with a hunter with that. So, look, man, it's a new meta. You're going to have to adjust.
Yeah.
So I will say I am sorry to the hunters if this does mess with you guys in PvE. Mm-hmm. Being a Titan, I am less sad in the PvP field for the hunters, and that is probably 100% a biased point of view. I'll claim it, and that's fine.
Now you're going to have to get good, hunters. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, it means less Bakris as well. And so they can't just all the way across everywhere. So huge, big change.
Mm-hmm. And that stasis freeze dodge that they do.
Oh, the bombardier dodge.
Oh my god, dude, that is just toxicity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Top Tree Arcstrider. Now, somebody will just have to remind me why this is a thing, but I will say the reduction is hilariously large. This change to the combination blow melee was made possible by our variable ability cooldown system. Previously, Top Tree Arcstriders were basically required to use Gambler's Dodge with this tree. We hope this change makes this ability more viable even if you're using Marksman's Dodge. They reduced the base cooldown of combination blow from 96 seconds to 15. That is a 600% or more reduction of that cooldown. Somebody remind me what combination blow, like what's the benefit here? What's it doing?
That's what I was talking about with the Liar's Handshake, where you dodge melee, dodge to get your melee back, hit again. And the subclass is just pretty much just dodge melee, dodge melee, dodge. Yeah. That's how people are used to solo Riven. This will kind of offset that. Although, like I said, if you get a melee kill, it automatically gives you your dodge back, which works perfectly with Gambler's Dodge already. So I don't think this change is going to do anything. I mean, it's awesome, but I don't really think it'll make that big of a difference.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
And then Bottom Tree Night Stalker, the Vanish and Smoke melee has low damage output but high utility. Our data shows that this subclass tree is struggling in PvP, so we decided to increase how often Pathfinder hunters can go invisible. That's never anything I want to see. They reduced the base cooldown from 96 to 75. So they get more invisibility with that one. So we will just have to see.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've got a few of these in here. Titans.
Ha ha.
We've got some changes coming as well, and I cannot wait.
Talk about it.
I
Let's
cannot
talk
wait
about
to
it.
see
Woo,
how
let's get to
smug
it.
COG can possibly be about any discussion. Don't worry, I got one for you too. It's fine.
Yeah, this is what I'm here for. Let's go.
I don't even
Let's
know
get
it,
to it.
dude.
Play
Hold
any of
on.
these,
I don't
by
think
the way.
anybody biased can say this, Cognito. I'd like you to read out the Titan changes because
okay.
you can't shut up about it. So this one's yours.
Did something happen?
No.
Look, in our efforts to put the emphasis back on gunplay in the Crucible, we decided to reduce the number of abilities that can one-shot and at full fix your face health guardian. As such, the Titan's 3 shoulder charges are no longer one-shot abilities in PvP. So to balance it out, they made some quicker charges to activate, easy to hit, travel farther. They're still powerful in PvP, and they said with short-range weapons and used as a movement tool. So they wanted to curb shoulder charge potency now that they've turned down shotguns as their current counter. So they're going to be monitoring. So as of now, all shoulder charges no longer one-shot players. Sprint activation is reduced from 1.5 seconds to 1.25, increased the range from 5.5 to 6.8, targeting code width increased by, I guess, 10%, and increased damage by versus PvE combatants by 25%. And then we got seismic strike specifically. The AoE damage is from reduced from 90 to 40. Now blinds enemies in the area on hit. Interesting. Increased base cooldown from 82 seconds to 90 seconds. Then Shield Bash reduced the AoE damage from 90 to 40. Increased base cooldown from 82 seconds to 90 seconds. Hammer Strike Solar Charge will be reduced direct impact damage from 170 to 120 and increased base cooldown from 82 seconds to 90 seconds. So, the floor is yours. I just wanted to know how you felt about all this stuff. Continue.
I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, they're getting towards gunplay. So, I mean, the same thing happens to Shatter Dive. Same thing happened to one of yours coming up. And it is one of those that I'm not surprised about. My curiosity is kind of going to be how it feels in PvE, depending on if any of these changes, like when they lower the base damage. Like if a shoulder charge feels like a tickle to an enemy now, that I'm not going to be a fan of because I should still be able to do that in PvE. Said no longer one-shotting. The sprint active cooldown is going to be a quarter second faster. Doesn't really change a whole lot. Basically, for me, like as a Titan, personally, I don't know why I'm going to use a shoulder charge in PvP. Because if I'm not going to kill him, I'm going to have a little wider angle. I'm going to do more damage to PvE enemies. But in PvP, I'm going to get close and I'm going to get blasted or I'm going to get melted the whole way in. Still not kill them. Going to have to like readjust and pull out my weapon. I'll be dead by the time I get there. So basically, to me, it doesn't seem like they're going to be very useful in PvP. That just could be me, though.
Yeah.
I could, well, I mean, if you do like the stasis melee, if you spam your melee, like you'll like hit them and then punch them immediately. And I'm wondering if you can do that with this too.
Maybe
it's still. I mean,
There's an animation. There's an animation that happens after you do the charging melee.
I mean, the same thing with the stasis one though. Like it doesn't just end. Like it zooms back out or whatever, or it zooms out and then zooms back in. But you can still like bam, bam. I don't. It'll be interesting to see. I don't know. I think I like that they're adding the movement to it. I think that's huge. In PvE.
The bigger range. That's good. Yep.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm not hurt at all by this. Because I never use the shoulder charge in PvE. Like I don't even really know what you would use it for, except for the burn effect that the Titans have. You know, the boss melting melee. But other than that, like, why would you ever? Who would be worthy of you spending like 7 seconds to get the run up time to do a shoulder charge? And like, I'm not shoulder charging like a fallen vandal. Like, what would be the point of that? Unless I'm trying to do the static electricity thing with the Dune Marchers.
Yeah, there's not much use on most because I typically hit bottom tree Titan, so I haven't used every soft on use shoulder charge is like, yep, that's a cheesy kill. Totally get it. But I haven't used it that often because I've been enjoying actually the bottom tree for like the Sun Warrior, because if I can stand in one of those places where I get that little Sun Warrior spot, my ability is just like climbing up. And then also just setting stuff on fire. But I was like, I enjoy the occasional time I'll set a dude on fire, watch him walk away and have it trickle down and be like, those are the fun little moments when you actually get to watch them burn.
In PvP, if you're charging somebody face on with shoulder charge, if they're good at all, 9 times out of 10, they're going to shotgun you and one hit you before you can actually get a shoulder charge off. So that's like a gambit that's really not good if you're playing against people that know what they're doing. And so, it hasn't really been useful to me in PvP. The way it is useful to me is if I can use it for maneuverability. And so the fact that they're changing it up to be more about maneuverability and when you do hit it, it's got better tracking and that sort of stuff. I think that stuff's more valuable than it being a one hit. And honestly, I've probably gotten killed by people shoulder charging me way more than I've ever gotten kills using it. So this is sort of
probably
helping me too. Like I'll get and the only reason I get killed by it is just because I'm not expecting it. Like I'm like, oh my god, who uses shoulder charge? It's such a rookie move, Like that's the way people get kills in PvP when they don't know how to shoot anything. It's like, I'll just run it on the
You're a savage.
Like, it is, dude. It just is. That's like the noob starter kit.
You shoulder charge shaving. That's what you're doing.
It's just it's so cheesy, man. It's so cheesy.
Done. As New Red said, I'm sure Fallout will have a before and after video showing all of this fun stuff.
Oh yeah, you already know.
Okay, this one I do have to say though, and this is one of those points where I'm like, this change is pointless. Barricade. Even with rally barricade changes we made in Season of the Lost, using this ability during a firefight is still a risky proposition. We've spaced out the cooldowns of the 2 barricades to make the choice slightly more interesting. My hindquarters are what's on the line there because Towering Barricade is 3 seconds longer duration, Rally Barricade's 5 seconds shorter. No one's using Rally Barricade in PvP. No one. I can tell you.
Why do they want them to?
Like no,
what are you doing?
Stop trying to make fetch happen. Like this is one of those moments where I'm just like, no one is using a half body barricade. It's full body or you're doing something else. Like there is no point for Rally Barricade.
All right, Bungie, I will use Rally Barricade in PvP if you give me 50 silver every time I deploy it. That's our deal. That's what will get me to use it.
Bungie has like this fixation on unstoppable sidearms and making Rally Barricade work in PvP.
Yeah.
It's like neither are gonna happen. Cut it out. Like it's like,
but like it's like I'm not going to use Rally Barricade in PvE either. I don't need like extra range in there or have my upper body and my head is exposed. That at least let him shoot my toes or some crazy there's 0 point for a Rally Bear. I'm sorry, you got to change it up or something. You have a marksman's dodge and you have a gambler's dodge with very different effects.
Bring back auto reload.
That was
half a wall and a full wall. That ain't it. Sorry.
You guys just aren't playing 3-dimensional chess, okay? You use a Rally Barricade to protect your feet from those Telesto orbs, all right? So when they shoot those orbs at the ground, hit the Rally Barricade. Yeah, there you go.
There's the functional application.
Play on my level, boys. Protect those feet.
Thank you.
Protect your feet.
I think you meant 4D chess, not 3D chess.
Anywho, moving on.
Behemoth. Again, a class I've barely played since I got the subclass. Like, literally hardly use it.
Let's get it.
We're hoping these changes they make to Diamond Lance will make it a top-tier PvE pick. I think they're reaching still, but we will find out. Shiver Strike is getting a big damage buff during Glacial Quake. The Whisper of Chains fragment buff here is very spicy and should help Behemoth's survivability in PvE. Whisper of Change is all subclasses. They're just showing it here. So Diamond Lance increases the fragment slots from 1 to 3, so you've got more fragment options. Now spawns a Diamond Lance upon killing a PvE combatant with a stasis weapon. Like, you're going to see those apparently... I don't know what the global cooldown is, but if you're just getting hand cannon kills or a couple shotguns or Reed's Regret now, there could be a lot more of those around there. Killing 3 players with stasis weapons in a single life. Killing an enemy with a stasis ability... and shattering an enemy. So all of those will create Diamond Lances. So in theory, they're going to be everywhere. Yeah. Now, Skarrow, Travis, have you guys done much with the Diamond Lances?
No, but this will slot in perfectly with an Aegir Scepter build. Like 100%.
Oh, yeah. That's...
Titans already have some utility.Ey're probably the weakest of the 3 classes with Aegir's Scepter.
Definitely.
Definitely.
But I think this is like... this will help that a lot.
Yeah.
And any class can pick that lance up, right? Did they make that change at one point?
Yeah, it's any player can.
Yeah.
So Yeah, I think this will be a really good, like you said, support
Yeah.
thing. But I think for like ad clear in general, I
Ooh,
think
that
this will be
Aegis
pretty
build is going to be sweet. Yeah, I can
That'll
see
be
it.
fun. It is nice that we do actually have that now because that makes Stasis more appealing with the
'Cause you guys
combination
got
of
the
a
weakest
weapon.
out of the
Yeah,
stasis. You guys got the weakest out of the stasis. I have to admit.
Behemoth sucks.
Yeah,
man.
Behemoth sucks, and
good.
you
It's
got
so weird because it was like
and Warlock's
Yeah, there's a
got God
Plus
tier.
tier, yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
now you get negative movement speed if you're on
Yeah.
the Stasis Titans.
No, I agree.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah,
you
so-
take more damage while you're in super.
Yeah, for
You get it.
real.
Yeah, they took our damage resistance and they were like,
Yeah.
all right, you're going to take 10% more damage.
Yeah. Amplification. Here we go.
Amplification.
What? That's not fair.
Shiver Strike is going to do 15% more in PvE for the. I can tell you, I don't know if it's just me, and you guys tell me, as like, again, could be crappy skill. How many Behemoth, just the regular melees, have you guys missed?
Oh, wow.
So the
You slide
trick
off of
is,
people.
yeah,
Yeah.
I actually did a short on this when it first launched. The trick is when you line up, you let go of the melee like a second early, and then it locks on. But if you're holding it breaks your tracking.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
not very intuitive.
So-
I will say that. So yeah, let go early. But yeah, it's like
there's no explainer for this in game, and the super too. That's like the really important thing. Like you need to let go of the melee early. So and that's when it'll do like the final lunge thing.
Yep. They also said Whisper of Chains increases PvE resistance versus combatants by from 20% up to 40%. That's a pretty substantial damage reduction. And it's chains, what, when you're standing next to a crystal, you get damage reduction. Is that right? Something like that?
Mhm.
I don't remember what it does. I don't play Stasis enough. I'm a Titan. So.
Having 12 fragments that are one word different, not a good strat. I never know what the hell any of them are.
I
Yeah.
It's a
hate
whisper
that, dude.
of
Yeah.
something.
You know what's crazy? If you're a content creator, people on internet will get mad at you if you don't know what each of the fragments is.
Yeah,
I'm
they
like,
get all
dude,
festy.
they're like, oh, you don't know about the whisper of malarkey? And I'm like, dude, I've never heard of that at all. I don't. You think I'm reading these things?
What does it do? You got to give me the numbers.
Yeah,
the
just tell me
important
what it
part.
does, and I'll be real with you. But like, what do you think? I don't play the game? Like,
Fair enough.
Bottom Tree Striker. This class is obviously dominating PvP, so we're tuning it down a notch. The changes we made in Fist of the Havoc and Season Lost have helped the tree as intended, but they also turned Bottom Tree into a monster. So basically, they're going to try and tone down this crazy, crazy super. They said knock out the melee lunge range and melee damage bonus now deactivate after a melee kill. Trample, the super energy gained from Fist of Havoc now decays to basically caps out at 3, and you're going to get very little super energy after 3 PvP kills. PvE not affected. Frontal Assault increased the base cooldown from 82 to 106, so made that one longer. And then Fist of Havoc, heavy slam radius is reduced by 2 meters. That's actually pretty big, but it is only bottom tree. So if you want the bigger slams of radius, you can still go top tree. So they're really making that bottom tree that can last longer a bit weaker. You have to be a bit more direct with it for sure.
it's pretty dominant.
Yeah, for sure.
Cog?
Yo, Warlocks, y'all.
I was like, you want?
Uncharged.
I was like, you want this one? I gotta give it
Yeah,
to
I'll
you.
just grab it. Give your voice a rest.
Try not
Uncharged
to cry
melees.
while you read this.
This is gonna be fun. Warlocks have been losing the slap fights too long, Skarrow. Up until now, Warlocks haven't been able to melee back to back as quickly as Titans Hunters. No more palm slaps, y'all. So we're removing the 1 meter range extension Warlocks received to compensate. We still think the idea of if each class having unique qualities to their melee is interesting, but we want to do it in a way that won't cause one class to consistently lose slap fights. So uncharged melee, reduced melee range from 5.5 meter to 4.5 now matches the Hunter and the Titan. Reduced suppression time after melees can now melee back to back at the same speed as Hunters and Titans. Hey!
This is a net buff, by the way, because
yes.
pretty much our most Warlocks run Ophidians.
Yes, I was just about to say that. Yup.
It's like, so the range nerf doesn't even matter. And now you can melee faster. It's
yes,
like,
it's on.
Nice.
Yeah, it's on with Ophidians, baby.
Big nice.
Just put the
I'm with
powder
you,
on
bro.
the hand.
That's
Start
it.
slapping.
Yep.
Anyway, so middle tree Voidwalker, here we go. So handheld supernova E's favorite is getting the shoulder charge.
Thank God.
I knew E was gonna say this. I
Yeah.
should let you read this segment. You need to read this segment. I got you.
No, this is all yours. I just want to hear your tears come through the microphone.
Listen, handheld supernova will no longer one shot. To compensate, it now travels farther and pushes enemies back. We've also increased the damage of handheld supernova and Nova Warp versus champion and boss combatants. We increased the damage in Season of the Lost, but we felt it could use more juice. So now,
Honestly, I will say before you say all these, like all of what's going on, it's still going to be very functional and almost like potentially more for the amount of damage it does, plus the like what the range is. Like, yeah, your cleanups are not going to be that hard with this. I think it's still going to be very good.
Still got the charge time PvP, but I hear what you're saying for sure. Reduced damage versus players. Now deals 150 damage max. Increased damage versus champions and bosses by 30%. That's good. Increased projectile range from 12 meters to 14 meters. Now pushes targets away from the Warlock or detonation. And then we got Nova Warp. Increased damage versus champions and bosses. Thank God it's the most useless, I still think, PvE.
Didn't it just get a 50% buff too?
Yeah, and it still didn't feel good to me.
No, man, that's why they're
doing.
doing. But that's just like, damn, that's how bad it was.
Yeah, like
50 and then 30 more.
I'll see you in the next patch when they buff it again.
Yeah, when it like, bro, it is laughable. Like the bosses laugh at me, stomp, and get me out. Like, why are you even using Nova Warp?
Do you use Nova Warp in PvE?
I've tried it since that buff. I was like, this is a joke. I can't even. What am I killing with this?
Yeah, dude, I don't know, man. I don't know about that one. That seems like a pretty a PvP super, I think. Is just the way it's designed. I think you're gonna have a hard time making that good in PvE. But they're trying. They keep making. Hey man, this only Nova Warp
great. Make Nova Warp great again. That's fine.
Hey, also with Nova 3.0 or Void.
Yeah, with Void 3.0, there could be some
where
fragments.
That could be interesting. Yeah, that combined with these buffs, Nova 3.0 could be good.
Now this is the big one. Shadebinder. We feel that Shadebinder is in a pretty good place with a couple of exceptions. Winter's Wrath is still the best super for shutting down other supers. It's not even close. As a general rule, roaming supers shouldn't be able to one-shot other supers. That Penumbral Blast melee is too difficult to land against PvE combatants. Yes. Travis is clapping.
Oh, I was too. You just missed it.
Oh, I missed your clap too. We made the ability harder.
You should be clapping. It sucks. Come on, you've been hit by this, right? You've seen another Warlock use this on you and just been like, wow, that did not feel good.
It's a bit oppressive.
A bit oppressive.
But
it's like it's toxic as hell.
But the tracking's insane too. It'll be like
it goes around corners,
and
then all they have to do is be on the same half of the map as you to hit you.
I remember when
the range on that super blast is insane.
Yeah. I remember when Stasis first dropped and everybody was all mad, and I'm like, yo, Warlock is lit. Like, I was loving Warlock Stasis. But now
Titans got screwed the entire time, so hopefully you enjoyed your year.
So they talk about the PvE negative effect, and then they've increased the proximity detonation radius against PvE combatants to make it easy to land. Now, all three stasis grenades now have different cooldown times. All right, this one's big. We made a change to Bleak Watcher to avoid a situation in which it is always the best to use the grenade with the shortest cooldown time. The results in an overall cooldown increase for Bleak Watcher, which fits its incredibly high power output. That's a big deal. That is my high-end build for
So for people who don't play Warlocks, for example, tell us what Bleak Watcher's doing for you.
Bleak Watcher is that turret. Yeah, you charge up that grenade, you throw that turret down, you could control space, you could stasis things. It's really oppressive. And it has some good functionality in PvP. Would you agree, Skarrow, or are you a Bleak Watcher?
Oh no, that turret's
I'm not a huge Bleak Watcher guy.
Okay.
It's annoying in PvP. In PvE, I don't really play.
Okay.
Like if I'm playing PvE on Warlock, I'm like top tree Dawn sword skating like as fast as I can. Places.
I got it. So this is for me. This is for me. This is my end game. One of my end game builds, and I can really control Nightfalls. But anyway, Winter's Wrath. So again, reduce the shatter pulse damage versus enemy supers. Must now generally freeze and shatter all supers twice to eliminate. That's a big deal. Penumbral Blast, increase proximity detonation radius versus PvE combatants by 100%. And Bleak Watcher, while equipped, all stasis grenades charge at glacier grenade rate. That's it.
Well,
Travis,
I don't know if that's enough, but we'll see.
You're not satisfied.
I don't know if 2 full breaks really changes anything if the
If you
tracking
can-
is still ridiculous and you can still get blown up from across the map.
Yeah, like if you can
freeze
hit me
and blow
once.
me up and then freeze me a second,
Right.
like
the
later,
usage
and then
is
blow me up
high.
again.
It uses a lot of super energy to do that.
Okay. You know what else uses a lot of super energy? Any of the Titan supers that are just one shot and not roaming at all. Like, you know what I mean? Like Thunder
No, but
Crash,
like,
that sure takes a lot of
if
super
you
for my
freeze me-
one.
Mhm.
and then
Yeah.
blast and then freeze me again, how much of an
Mhm.
opportunity am I going to have a chance to still fight you?
That's my question.
Yeah,
with
but
anything.
the super's honestly, the super's probably done at that point.
It
Because
might be, but
probably
you just
could get
saved
3
yourself a super kill. Like that's if
Yeah.
you can survive a super and still
You
shut
killed me
one
out of my
down.
super.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can still shut down
And
a
you
super and live like completely unscathed, not like
Right.
almost a trade, that's still pretty potent. That's all I'm saying.
No, it's still potent. It's still potent. I'll give you that. But that's all
Your
I
melee
got.
getting a buff though, that's big because I know that thing sucked
Yes.
for a little while. So
Yeah,
that's
it was
good.
terrible. Terrible. But yeah, that was that. The last of them, man. What y'all think?
The last word.
Oh, end it. Cut the recording. It's done.
Wow, I just ended our show so early.
Wow. No,
We
this
got
is
one
the
more
hilarious.
controversial
This is the part I want to talk about. Destiny
Let's
2
get it.
leaving Xbox Game Pass because it's major and the way it's handled goes into a deeper discussion we've been having for weeks now. On December 8th, Destiny 2 and its expansions, Forsaken, Shadowkeep, and Beyond Light, will leave Xbox Game Pass on cloud and console. Now, one caveat there, Forsaken campaign, as we discussed, is going free on December 8th, but apparently not some other things. Destiny 2 and current expansions will remain on Xbox Game Pass for PC, because I think they just got there pretty recently, right?
They just put it out. Yeah.
So once Destiny 2 leaves Xbox Game Pass for consoles and cloud, apparently, players who don't own any of the expansions on Xbox platform will lose access to campaign missions, expansion-specific activities, raids, dungeons, hunts, exo challenges, nightfall strikes, access to Trials of Osiris, which is actually a thing for 3 months, the Stasis subclass, which is Beyond Light specific, the Middle Tree Supers, which I did not see, and the 10% off perk for silver purchases and other game add-ons. Okay, I'm going to go last. Anybody else want to go first?
Set it off, guys. Wait, look at this.
Oof.
There you
Let's
go,
get it.
Skarrow. Get the oof.
Do we
Skarrow.
think it? Do we think it'll come back next year?
My guess is
I
yes.
feel like it must, yeah.
Yeah, my guess is yes. But
Like,
I think the reason they haven't announced it yet is probably because they're hoping to get that first lump of sales and pre-orders, and then once the game's actually out, like 3 weeks in, they'll be like, all right, cool, now that we've sold 10 million copies of The Witch Queen, it's going to be free
Yeah.
for anybody who didn't buy it.
and then
That's my
they'll
guess.
drop it right before Shadowkeep leaves. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
and just keep
Mhm.
it going, yeah, right
Yeah.
before Lightfall.
I get it from a business perspective. I don't like it, but
Yeah.
also Xbox getting stuff for free and not like PlayStation or like me.
Yeah.
That's not
Like,
free.
Or me.
Well,
Me.
how much?
You
how
gotta-
much is
you gotta-
Xbox
you gotta-
Game Pass? It's like $5
$15
a month. 50?
15.
Oh, 15. Oh, I was like, what the shit? 15? Okay, no, that's about what we end up paying anyway. Never mind.
Yeah,
Whatever. Screw
probably.
these guys. Buy the game. Freeloaders. No, I'm just messing. It is weird to give it to him and then take it away. Probably only to give it to them again.
yeah,
So-
it's interesting. I was surprised by this one. Trav, you was about to continue talking about
No,
this.
you go. I'll go
Okay.
later.
Yeah, no, it's just interesting. I was like, okay. And then the other thing I was thinking about, was the role of the DCV in this. Because currently
it's so annoying and it's unclear.
Mhm.
Like when you buy, when it's going to go, when's it going to come back? Like, okay, Shadowkeep guaranteed to go next year, but they introduced a new destination. Is that going to go? Do we know for sure? Is Dreaming City going to stay? None of this has like an expiration date that's very public until they decide to tell you in a post here. But you can still literally go on Steam probably right now. If I pull up Steam, which I don't want to pull it up right this second, but you can still probably go on Steam right now and buy Forsaken right now.
Which
And
is
we've
bad.
already talked about that. That's
Yeah.
where. Anyway, continue what you were going to say.
No, that's pretty much it. It is surprising, but at the same time, I think I'm with Trav. I think this is one of those plays. Bungie and Xbox, whatever the relationship is, it served its purpose. Destiny is still on Xbox, in the top 10 games as of like 2 days ago. I was checking which is surprising because it's one of the most deadest seasons right now, right?
Yeah.
Considering for the hardcore community, and to see it have that much engagement, I'm like, wow. So to me, it's like, okay, they probably put things in Destiny Content Vault, rearrange the structure, get the Bungie 30th anniversary money, get the Witch Queen pre-orders, and then as it gets closer to February, oh, maybe by the way, we throw in Witch Queen, that expansion in Game Pass for console users, because it doesn't make sense also that it also remains on PC. That to me is also weird. Like if it's going to be removed, remove it completely. And to me, it was weird that Xbox Game Pass Destiny on PC came so late. So to me, it gives me the impression they still have more things they want to do with Bungie and Game Pass. So that's just my guess. I could be wrong, but I think I wouldn't be surprised if Witch Queen at some point, whether it be at launch or at some point, is going to come back into Game Pass. That's my theory. That's what I'm running with.
Yeah.
Travis?
But it sucks for people that play it. Yeah.
So I as I said, I think that makes sense. I don't think it makes a ton of sense to have stuff like Stadia where people can just play it on demand and not have it on Xbox, which is a much larger platform. The difference is that on Stadia, you also have to buy the game.
Right.
So, I mean, they gave away the Destiny 2, I think it was Beyond Light or Shadowkeep. I think it was Shadowkeep that year when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you still have to pay for the expansion, so that's the difference. But the way they're doing it is terrible.
Yeah.
And I think we've talked about this now like 7 or 8 weeks in a row about how Destiny's model doesn't make any sense.
Yep.
Right? Like the fact that we're paying for microtransactions and season passes and the main expansions, and just across the board, like their model keeps developing and turning into this thing that is a game as a service, but their paying model, their financial model, is just stuck in 2014. Like they haven't changed at all. Yeah. And I think that needs to change like soon, or it's just gonna drive people away. And I thought when they went on Game Pass, it was there kind of like hinting at like, hey, we're going full free to play eventually.
Right,
like
right.
Maybe there will be some way that they make you pay like via Game Pass, because that way they're getting money for sure, or if it goes on PlayStation Now or what have you. But that's essentially the same thing, right? It's like a premium free to play game where you have to have some sort of like subscription to something that gives you access to it, but then everything in it, all the content is free, and you just have to pay for microtransactions and season passes. And I think that model would probably work for them. I don't understand why they also need to create all these gates, because there's this really interesting conversation happening in the gaming industry right now where people are finding out that the more barriers you add, you actually make less money. And so if you say nobody can play my game unless they pay $60, then that means that you just lost a whole group of people that aren't willing to pay $60. And then the next year, when you do it again, you add another barrier. It's like adding hurdles to a track for people that are running track, right? Like you're going to lose people with every track, unless they're professionals and can run. So I'm torturing the metaphor.
Nah, you good.
But if you break down those barriers and say, okay, anybody can keep playing along, but we're just going to sell you stuff as you go. We're going to sell you guys water bottles that we're going to hand to you as you're making the run, right? If you do that, then because the barrier is so low, there's just a huge pool of people that are playing. Imagine how many fewer players would be playing Apex right now if you had to pay for that game. Yeah. Like, because that barrier is gone completely, people just play Apex like mad, and all their stuff, all their support down the road is free, and they just sell people microtransactions. So I think one way or another, Bungie is going to learn that you can't keep adding barriers of entry and expect people to continue to play your game, at least at the levels that they have enjoyed in the past. And I think Bungie only gets away with this because they're the special kid on the block. They're the exception to the rule because they sort of created this genre, and they have this cult following of people like our guest today that literally can't bring himself to not do everything in Destiny every season because he wants that time score, right?
I'm afraid my wife will leave me if I'm not a max time score game. So I gotta keep it up,
She will for sure. She messaged me about it. So
ridiculous.
Wow.
It's fair game.
WOW.
Messy.
But I just think this is something they're gonna have to address sooner or later. They're not going to be special forever. And they gotta show up. They have to change their model, and I think they will have to do that eventually.
Yeah, it's just too many models and too many forms of monetization. But I want to shout out WD Prescott. He actually had a good point on to bring it to you guys. He said, "What do you guys think that it is contractual issues that the end date was supposed to be when Witch Queen was
that
going
makes
to
a lot of
launch
sense
initially, right? Because technically, Witch Queen was going to be around this time, so it was just going to roll over. But with the delay, he said, do you think it messed it all up?" And I think there's some truth to that, maybe.
I mean, I think the delay for this weird, because now you get people who jumped into Destiny with Game Pass. They have Beyond Light. They've been able to play Trials up until now. Then you're going to have this weird 2.5 month window where they can't play Trials, even though they were able to up until now, yet the next expansion's not out. So why would you buy Beyond Light at the end of this thing that you've already played the most out of? At that point, you'll just wait for Witch Queen, and then you're just going to fall off the game for a little while. So
that's the thing. Even if they waited and bought Witch Queen today, let's say that it left Game Pass as planned and Witch Queen came out today and they bought it. If they did that, they would still lose their Stasis subclass.
Oh, I know. I mean, that's still a thing, too.
Because they didn't buy it Beyond Light, right? So it wouldn't fix the problem. It still would have been weird no matter what.
This is so messy because, you've got a subclass that you spent 9 months with or 10 months or however long we're at now. And then all of a sudden it's like
unlocked all of the artifacts
and fragments. I'm like, is it just going to be great?
All of those?
Well, it's like, I would imagine it's just like grayed out and you have to go to like, please buy. Yeah. But it's like, and they state that, there's going to be discounts on expansions soon, but you're getting to the point where why the hell are you charging for Shadowkeep? For one, also Game Pass players, if you listen to this thing, Forsaken, you're going to have a little time to work on it. There's going to be a pack. Shadowkeep, if you have Game Pass right now, do that stuff right now. Go get your Deathbringer. Go get your Xenophage. Do anything related to Shadowkeep now, because Forsaken is going to be a little different and you'll be able to buy that stuff. But I was like, Shadowkeep especially, that's the stuff. That one's so weird because like the Moon, Shadowkeep it's old. Forsaken's insanely old. Why they're still charging for that one, I don't know. Like Shadowkeep and Forsaken should be free. Beyond Light goes for a year. They're going to make all their money for like $100 for the 30th anniversary in Witch Queen. When Witch Queen launches, Beyond Light should be free. Because as you guys said, you're putting up a wall. Then you don't own this one. Here's another wall. And then another wall. And that stuff's like 3 years old. Nobody's going to play it anyway. But if you want to jump in, I mean, there's a reason Final Fantasy is so successful right now. And they've got to look at that because Final Fantasy 14, my brother told me, he's like, dude, there's like 300 hours of stuff for free. Like there's so much for free. Is it the current story? No, but there's so much that he can go in, explore, and the Destiny Content Vault makes this worse, by the way, which is a whole different problem. I was like, and that's the problem is now you like, oh, the campaign's going to go away. Well, how do I know what the hell happened? Go watch some YouTube videos. You're telling me I can't play the Red War 16 story campaign? I can't see who the Barons are gone. Every one of the Baron fights that was like a unique boss that you'd go through. All of those are going to be gone. So you're losing content and then you're still charging them for this like half piece of things. It's like, and Bungie, it's like, we love you, but this has got to get simplified because you're just making it harder for any person to say, hey, should you play? I'm like, I don't even know what you get anymore. You're going to buy Witch Queen and say, okay, well, if you buy Witch Queen now, what if I pre-order Witch Queen? Does that help me out? No, Witch Queen will only get you into Trials in February. But if you buy Witch Queen White and right, they don't even do that. You can't even like pre-order Witch Queen now to be like, all right, if I don't want to buy Beyond Light, but I pre-order Witch Queen, will that let me play Trials for the next couple months? No, seriously? No, like that's not even one like a concession that they're making. Stasis, the Middle Tree Supers is insane though. That I never even thought.
That don't feel good. You log in the next day, your joint is gone.
Now my question is, the Middle Tree Supers, are those even going to be available in Witch Queen? Are those going to be free with Witch Queen when Forsaken is completely like kind of gone? Or is that going to be just like you have to buy the Forsaken pack to get the Middle Tree Supers? Because those are big. You got Chaos Reach. You've got Sentinel Shield. There's so many like Blade Barrage. There's some big supers that people use for very specific circumstances. Like if you have to buy a Forsaken pack to buy those, they're getting so. Yeah, I'm sorry, but they're getting greedy.
The Forsaken pack doesn't leave with Witch Queen though. Right,
well,
like Last Wish is still here. The dungeon's still here. So
they wouldn't make a new product if they planned on making that all free later.
Yeah, I think it's here. It's here to pay.
No, I mean that's the problem.
Instead of here to say, come on, that was good. Okay, whatever.
No, I love
but it's exacerbated by the fact that it's like, oh, are you buying Witch Queen or the deluxe edition or the collector's edition or the deluxe plus the 30th anniversary plus 4 seasons? You know, it's like, what the? And then it's like, oh yeah, you have to buy Witch Queen deluxe and 30th anniversary. But hey, also if you really want to do the good stuff, get Last Wish or get Forsaken Pack, get Shadowkeep if you want to run like that raid.
Like
you
those
know,
supers
like,
have been in the game for 3 years.
Yeah,
by the
it doesn't
time this
matter.
comes out, you should not be charging for those. I'm sorry. Like, that's ridiculous.
Okay,
like
here's
Beyond
here's
Light
my
after
proposal.
a year, especially like if you had Game Pass for a year, like, you know, say somebody's got a certain, like if you played for like 5 minutes, maybe not. But if you played for like hundreds of hours in your game and you didn't have Beyond Light, like you should get like some pass or some like check a box in the system that you can keep Beyond Light. Cause like you buy it right now before Witch Queen just because it goes out of Game Pass for this 2.5 month limbo, which I know is caused by the delay, I'm sure, because Prescott's probably dead on accurate of that. But that limbo makes it so much worse feeling right now, I think, to me.
Yeah, I don't feel good. Anytime you log in and something's grayed out, that don't feel
That's
good.
just
Unless
bad.
it's Telesto. Unless it's
Unless it's
Telesto. And it's like, it broke the game. It's like, yes.
I think that one's just going to be a black box and it's just deleted. Please.
Like, this week at Bungie, we've sunset Telesto.
We brought back.
I would be surprised.
That would be hilarious. We brought back sunsetting for one thing, and that's the only thing. That's the only way. That's it.
There's no way it's that easy. Otherwise, they would have tried it already. I'm guessing if they tried to sunset Telesto would be like, "I'm the captain now. Like, you can't do it. Like, no, I'm not going."
Oh man.
Good old Telesto.
No, but yeah.
So here's my proposal for this.
What you got?
Fine. If you want to take away my super subclasses because I didn't buy your expansions, fine. But I demand you create in-game story content that gives me a reason why I'm losing my powers. I'm talking, I want Gaul to come back and like sap my power again. I want, I want
He kicked you in the middle nut of all your subclasses.
Yeah. I want Zavala to pop out and see me using the darkness and be like, you can't use that Guardian, and then take it away, and that way I can't use my Shadow Dive. That would be okay, as long as there's a story reason for it. Then we're good. There you go.
Oh my god, yeah. Bungie sometimes, man. The monetization models.
It's only the business side of Bungie. Like I feel like there's like a separate group of people there, but some of the things they do is just like, bruh.
I'm with you.
Like,
I'm with you. It's literally the business side versus the dev side, and I've learned to separate it because it's just like I don't want to get mad at this studio that makes these great things that we love, but it's just the business side just be. They've been so egregious.
Dude, it's like every season and expansion. You have the transmog stuff.
Oh god. Yep.
Yeah, you had like the people didn't like the Vault of Glass cosmetics. It's like every season there's something else. It's like I get it to some extent, but like,
did you guys see Outriders just absolutely just spank them on transmog?
Yeah.
No microtransactions. Totally free across all classes. Like
they threw
the
some subliminal
ultimate free
shots at Destiny
transmog.
too.
Yeah.
Here you go. Like
that's the one thing I really like about Outriders marketing is like they have taken a shot every time they can.
Yeah.
They like call people out direct.
Yes.
Every time.
Yes.
It's like we need someone like that to get people a little bit nervous,
Yeah.
And I'm kind of glad that this new expansion for them seems to be their playtime is up, or their hours are way up on Steam.
It came out at the worst possible time.
I know.
Oh yeah, the timing.
I
got a chance to know that was coming, and I was like, oh.
Yeah,
I was like,
part of me,
I almost wanted to be like, you guys ought to move this because it's gonna get lost. It's
what it is.
I bet a World Slayer is gonna come out week of Witch Queen.
Oh yeah.
World Slayer is gonna drop the same day as what am I trying to think of? Breath of the Wild 2.
Yeah, they came out. I think what it is they probably thought they were safe in November, and they didn't anticipate the stealth
No one's safe
multiplayer
in
drop.
November. November's
Yeah.
like the
Yeah,
one
that's
not
crazy.
safe
You're
of
right.
the
No,
year.
you're right. It was dumb. You're right. Yeah, I just thought about. Yeah, that was dumb. That was stupid. They should not have launched it.
I
You're
don't know.
absolutely
Well,
right.
I mean, it's cool. I'm glad they did, and I'm glad there's some.
I mean,
momentum.
apparently it's on sale right now on Steam for like 66%. Like, if it's $20, go play Outriders. It is 100% worth.
the campaign alone was
Yeah.
fantastic. I think
Never finished it.
Yeah, I gotta finish
really?
it too. Yo, Trav, hook up with me because I gotta finish
Yeah,
it too.
you
but-
guys, because honestly, the
I'll
things they
always
did.
hook up with you, Cog.
Hey, baby. Say that for the after dark last.
That's the after dark. Yeah, shout out to RGH and their after dark discussions. Got a whole different podcast going now, guys.
As a consolation prize, Game Pass holders, you can now you've lost. Destiny. You could go to Outriders.
Yeah,
and
go
get
play
the
some
Destiny.
Outriders.
Let's go.
I'm just like we've purchased one copy of Anthem for everyone losing your Forsaken subclass.
Go enjoy this five mission campaign and nothing to do. That was the
Is
thing.
Outriders still on Game Pass?
Yeah, I was still rocking and rolling.
Nice.
Yeah, still rocking and
I
rolling.
remember people saying there were like rumors that it was only there for a month, and they were like, "Oh, it's basically a free trial." But I guess it's sticking around.
Yeah, still doing
No,
it.
yeah. Outriders is one of those, like, everybody asks me, is like, is the game good? I'm like, dude, I played that thing. I played like 60 hours that first week because I got a little early access. I got to be in the insider program, and I played like hard the day early or something like that. And then I played through campaign. My buddy and I were grinding the end game. He had his inventory wiped. COG couldn't log in for a month. So I'm like, there were technical issues that were awful. It's like, and I completely get that. But I'm like, the things it did with like the ability combinations, and like you could put one mod and all of a sudden your ability completely changes, and you can put like 3 mods and you're like, I have god tier ability. Like the way they manage their sandbox of fun that you could use for, and I'm really only focused on one class and there's 4 of them. Like the way they managed to make so many of the abilities in that game fun, the weapons unique, like, and as you said, the story, I never expected for one, it to be that long.
Yeah.
And 2, actually did not be terrible for like a shooter story. I was like,
there were like a couple of twists, and I was like, whoa, like this is, I never saw that coming. I think Anthem suffered from endgame problems and inaccessibilities with different characters because you had to run past that 50-hour campaign again every time you saw a character.
Yeah.
And it was, and obviously like the inventory wipes and all of that.
Yeah.
That actually happened to me too. I was in the beta. I was trying to get, I like spent like 50 hours farming that one captain that swung in the door.
yeah.
Because I wanted every legendary.
Yep.
Because I was going to do like one of my ranking videos, and then I'm literally one off. Log in, all of them gone, and I was just like, well, never doing that again.
Yeah, you're like, I'm done. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
and it's a testament to how much I love that game because I couldn't access it for a month, but I was still so fiend to play.
Yeah.
And I was just like, every time I log in, I'm in my underwear again. I'm like, not ready to play.
yeah, it's. I mean, they did a great job. I hope they keep with it because there's something special there. But
I agree.
Oh yeah, the fact that they're doing an expansion, I will totally play that. Like World Slayer, when that thing comes back, I'm like, I'm there. Like I will totally jump back in for that one.
100%.
So that's like, and that's one of those things where it's like they took, and I watched Division do the same thing. We've talked about this. Like they tried to do the live service, like balance and tuning to make sure things weren't too powerful. I'm like, stop that.
Yep.
Let people have fun in your PvE game because it ain't gonna break anything and it doesn't matter. But like, so many things about that game, the inventory quality of life crap that they had in that game, I was like, dude. Everybody, look at what Outriders, this random looter shooter, is doing.
Delete blues all at once. Wow. I was like, who could have thought?
If we can't like not pick up blues in Witch Queen, I'm afraid it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
It's so crazy because it existed. It was in Destiny 1. This was a feature. This isn't something we've been asking for. It's something we had and they took away. Like, it's like,
I don't
just see that.
So right.
like
Just
to
do that.
so, like if you get to farming anything, you're like, for the love of God, blues go like every
If I had a counter for how many prisms and shards I've lost, it's like gotta be in the thousands for prisms, like easily. Dude, it's crazy, and it's I know that's also like, oh, you shouldn't keep things in your postmaster. It's like you shouldn't cap material.
Yeah, it shouldn't be capped at 50 and like 10 shards.
Talk to him, Skarrow.
It's like,
oh, you can have 9,999 weapon parts, but you have 999 cores, but you can have 10 of this and 50 of this because we have this arbitrary limitation because if you play our game too much,
Yep.
You can't have too much. Like, God forbid we stockpile. It's like you make a new currency for every. Weapon crafting. We've talked about this. Weapon crafting isn't going to use my 18,000 weapon parts. It's going to use weapon fragments or some bullshit. Like, there's my curse for the night. Sorry.
Weapon frames.
Weapon frames.
Yeah, exactly.
They already did that with the Armory DLC. They used the weapon crafting system.
Yeah, it's going to be weapon molds.
Weapon parts. There was a whole separate currency for it.
You have to find the molds.
I'm sitting on 18,000 weapon parts, and you're telling me not one of these is a frame? Like, please, give me a break.
There's got to be a couple pieces in here that make up part of a weapon. Come on, I've got a lot of them. I got a lot to pick from.
We definitely got to give Outriders their roses on that. And they definitely challenged them in UI management, builds, and things of that nature.
The way you could like switch out the mods and level it. Like, I want to level up my weapon. Click. It's just once you get enough currency, you can do that to anything you want to. Like,
and you can put two legendary perks on one gun.
Oh, one gun and then
that was awesome
too.
Dude, those perks.
I love that aspect of it. I gotta get it finished now. Y'all gonna make me play.
It's excellent. Like, go do it. It's
100% worth it. And now the expeditions are untimed. Like, that should have.
Nice.
Like, they lowered the timers
Any
at one
new
point.
Content?
4 new expeditions.
Four new expeditions.
4 new expeditions.
Okay.
And then the final expedition, you have 3 legendaries that you'll be able to like pick from. So if you farm that one, you'll actually be able to like, I want this one of the 3. Now, it's not easy. Trust me, that is it? Challenge tier 15 expedition it's a bit of a beating, but the fact that you can choose one of 3, and then the legendary vendor guy, he used to just have like 8 static things just forever. Same ones ever. If you didn't needed them or not, that's all you got. Now you can re-roll him. So as you farm that in-game resource, you can re-roll him to go after other stuff as well. You can just buy a random legendary.
And I'm a techno. They definitely need a raid. They need a true end game thing. I'm a techno. I'm assuming techno is okay. Did Devastators get buffed? I remember Devastators was all mad.
They've done. There's a lot of things that I don't know with regards to like balance patches, because they've done quite a few balance patches since it came out. Whenever it was like March or something, whenever it dropped, like between now, they've been doing a lot of that type of stuff for all the subclasses. So I know a lot of them have been touched. They buffed quite a few in this one. That one overall.
Yeah,
so
I'll check it out.
Well, as we wrap this thing up, gotta let our guest get a little bit. I did want to ask our final question for Skarrow with regards to Witch Queen, as it is the big hype coming. And if you got anything for the 30th, you can say it too. But Witch Queen's the biggest one. What are like 2 or 3 wants for Witch Queen? I know we tapped blues already, so you can't use that one. But I mean, what are your like Witch Queen wants? Whether it's big, little, system wide, tiny. What do you want to see, surprised or otherwise, in Witch Queen?
So, is this a Bungie, please?
Bungie, please?
Bungie, please.
I'm going to give you 2.
Okay.
One, and I think this has to happen. It makes so much sense. Like, I think there has to be some sort of community puzzle or like a live event leading into Witch Queen. Like that, for on a marketing standpoint alone, they have to do it.
Have you already seen like the tweets with the little like like the murder board videos that they're doing and stuff like that? Those are really well done too. I like those.
I hope something happens. I hope. I'm actually going to give you a 3rd one. I hope before Forsaken is Dreaming City's gone, whenever that is, we better get a Wish 15. There has to be a payoff for that.
Oh my god, if they don't do it, I'll be so upset.
Maybe make the community puzzle to find Wish 15 or something. I don't care. But my big thing, my like true one is for the raid of Witch Queen. Savathun's all about trickery and stuff. I just want it to be the most messy, crazy raid. Like, you never know what you're shooting at. I want the mechanics to be crazy. I think back to I was talking about this on stream one day. I was thinking of Zelda Wind Waker, the final boss. Ganon has like 4 stages where he turns into like different stuff. Like, I want Savathun to do that. Like, if she's the whoever the boss is, I just want there we go.
Yeah.
I just want it to be like and just endlessly changing. Just
I feel you.
Trickery galore.
Yes, I'm with you, bro. I am so with you. I'm sorry to cut
I think if any concept's going to top, Last Wish, it's going to be this one. So that's what I want. It's just a fantastic raid. No Vault of Glasses, no Garden of Salvations. I want good, rerunnable, crazy raid.
I want Wrath
of the Machine back, not King's Fall.
Oh, spicy.
Boom.
By the way,
Spicy. That was fun.
Wouldn't really fit with the theme, but I'm down.
I know, but I just hate the
want
orcs
Siege
encounter.
Engine. That's what I love.
Siege
that was
Yeah,
a legit
dude.
encounter. Yeah.
Who's got the engine part? Move it, Harry.
Hey, come on, walk faster. This
I
thing
feel
weighs
like
like
that
1,000 pounds. I'm going as fast as I can.
Who did
It's
you?
just so worth
Mixes.
the ending. So worth the ending.
Yeah.
Mixes. Oh man, I love it. Now I'm with you, bro. Savathun like has to hit. And I want them to really lean into deception, trickery, you know, like that would be so cool as a raid boss, whether it be different levels.
It's not going to be the raid, though. The raid's inside the pyramid, right?
Right.
We we're raid to the pyramid. I just want to know what they do with it. There's a lot of pressure on that raid. But with King's Fall, there's a lot of pressure on this raid to really execute. I mean, it's Bungie. I give them the credit. But I want Savathun to hit right. I want thematically to hit right. So yeah,
I always wanted the raid to be called Queen's Rise, the opposite of King's Fall. I think that'd be really dope. But
that would be.
I don't.
If she was in it, that would make a lot of sense, being as like she's theoretically not in the pyramid or whatever, then maybe. But that actually, I really like the title, actually.
I don't think she's in it, but yeah, that would be good.
We got to see. Yeah, she could stick around. We don't know. I'm with you, Kyle. I wouldn't be mad if she's still around. Yeah. I hope we don't just have this, like we said. Queen's
Fall 2. Or King's Fall 2, Queen's Fall.
King's Fall 2, the sequel.
There we go. The sequel.
Too fast or too falling.
It's too soon.
Too soon, Junior.
Too soon.
Those are good. Yeah, it's like I think for all of us, like the Witch Queen will be more of a flash in the pan kind of thing. I think we're going to be grinding out some armor. We're going to get some ornaments. We're going to get the exotic, and the dungeon will be cool. And it's like you'll be grinding out some of that stuff. But it's like we've talked about this with a lot of guests, and I think there's a lot. The weight on Witch Queen is more than some people want to give credit to, because as you said, it's like we want the ultimate mechanic raid because it's Savathun in the world of trickery, and we're going to her throne world, and there's, you know, we're not getting the subclass, but we're getting Void 3.0, and we're getting weapon crafting. We're getting a brand new weapon type with the glaive, which who knows how that one's going to work. Like there's a lot coming with this one, and I think just the weight of Witch Queen there's a lot on it. So again, I'm hoping it delivers. I'm saying with you, it's like I want that raid to just blow my socks off to between the we're in space from T-Rex moment where he's like, I'm in space to the then you get the spacewalk, and like you have both of those in a raid, and then now they got to follow that with this one.
Yeah,
I'm really curious because those two both like atmosphere alone, like those two are like awesome. Just don't give me another Skolas fight or whatever. What did we fight?
We fight Tadix twice.
Tadix, that's what I'm talking about.
That's the only thing that took away from it. I never asked Skarrow how you felt, because we haven't talked in a while. How you felt about Deep Stone Crypt, real quick.
Oh, I love it. It's fantastic. Okay. Yeah.
Does it rate higher than Vault of Glass?
Oh, like...
Y'all messing. Y'all needling.
I love... I love the complexity. I mean, no raid's like really that complex, but how intricate a lot of the things are, and 2-man Deepstone Crypt is like probably my favorite raid experience of all time.
Wow.
Like, Atrax is like an amazing encounter. The only bad thing about Atrax is like there's like a lull. If you kill everything really quickly, there's like a 30-second lull that kind of kills it. But if you're 2-man in it, not even there. You don't even notice. It's like 2 or 3-man in the entire thing. I did last season, me and my friend ATP, we 2-man flawless the entire raid, and it was like 2-man Tanix is probably like my favorite raid encounter of all time. If it's like Riven legit's like up there, but 2-man Tanix, just everything that goes into it, it's just so good. There's not like any bugs or anything. Like you're doing it all legit. Super good. I have a lot of respect for Deepstone. It's not like the most replayable raid in the world, but I think what it does perfectly. So
the Crypt.
I'd say it's like top 5 for me. Maybe top 7. I don't know. It's hard to say. There's too many raids.
Isn't that all the raids?
No, there's like 13 raids, I think, right?
I think there's. I forget.
Oh, you're talking about the mini raids. I forgot.
Oh yeah, the apartment
raid layers.
Yeah.
Apartment 2B Leviathan raids.
Hey, I love me some.
Don't convince raids and raid layers. They're very different. Okay.
I love me some Spire. I love me some Argos. So.
Salute to you with the Spire, brother. I think you and all 5 of you. Let me stop.
What's your favorite raid lair? Mine's Crota's Wrath.
Wow.
You're gonna get E started. You're gonna get East. Oof. My favorite raid layer.
It was a good thematic raid. Thank you. Crota's End was a good thematic raid. It was very high of light
layer.
I mean, it's better than what's your least favorite strike? Vault of Glass.
He's so disrespectful. See, Skarrow, we was good. Till you came in here with the blasphemy.
That's like
That's a low blow.
Yeah, you're right. You stand still too much in Vault of Glass for it to be a strike. It's a public event.
This man, he was doing so good.
Well, thank you guys for joining us. This is the last time you'll be seeing Skarrow on the show. No,
hey, I've done my time in Vault of Glass. It took me I soloed Atheon. Okay, I spent my time in that raid.
Atheon.
What's your favorite raid again? You a King's Fall guy, right? What are you?
No, Last Wish. I think King's Fall is incredibly overrated.
Okay. That's right.
Yeah. I think the Orcs encounter is like one of the worst encounters of all time. It's like it's a perfect encounter to do once, but if you ever do it like more than once, it's just 10 minutes of the same thing, and if you fail, you just have to do it over and over again. Any encounter that you can't speed up with a more skilled team, trash encounter. I don't care. Garbage.
This boy got spicy takes.
Yeah, it's like Gauntlet, trash. Orcs, trash. First encounter of Crown, trash. I don't even care.
Wow,
I think the one exception is like Siege Engine, but it's because it's not like cyclical. It's like one very linear encounter, which I like. Like Shuro-Chi is the same way.
Yeah,
I like those.
I love Shuro-Chi.
Encounters where you're doing the same thing and you have to do them 3 or 4 times.
You
like
hate that.
Morgan.
Okay, that's
Morgan, you probably one phase, but
Last Wish has that. The Vault.
I don't like Vault.
Yeah, he doesn't like Vault.
I don't like Vault. I think Vault is easily.
It is pretty rubbish encounter.
It is.
It's
Yeah, I don't.
definitely the worst one.
I think it's easily the weak point of Last Wish. So
Fair enough. Look, at least you're consistent. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
You're consistent. No
well,
doubt.
as we
also,
wrap,
but you can. To be fair, you can speed up Vault if you use tractor cannon. You boop out the cap.
Yeah,
cap.
Oh
So
god, that's cheating though. That's that's.
he's like, hey.
Don't you also have to
all's
wait
fair
in
in
the first
speedrunning.
encounter? The first
Sorry?
encounter, you also have to wait around for
Callie?
the right guy to spawn.
Yeah, but you don't have to do it like 4
standing
times.
on plates. You're not really doing anything, and then
Yeah, you just described every raid encounter in Destiny. If I went by that criteria, I wouldn't like raiding.
I mean, that's why you said you didn't like Vault of Glass, because there's a lot of standing on plates waiting.
Oh, but that's like 4 encounters in a row of standing versus.
Oh my god, man.
So
It was a different time in Destiny, my friend. We were playing on the
oh, those rose-colored glasses are so cute.
on the Xbox 360,
As long as he
my
slandered
friend.
King's Fall, I'm good.
I'm not
Have
saying
you played the Xbox 360? Have you seen
that's where I started.
what they were working with?
That's where I started. Yes, I have. I was a 360 gamer, and then I was a 1 gamer, and now I'm a PC Master Race gamer.
There it is.
He loves that.
Made
there
a
you go.
huge mistake.
Oh,
Nah,
Nope,
he's good.
that's the way to go. That's the way you do it right there.
dude.
PC, yeah, if you want to cheat, yeah.
We getting messy.
You
You
want
get
to hack
control.
the game.
Get control. You get control.
Is this guy Battle Eye? Did someone? Is he a plant?
I am Battle Eye. I work for them. I'm
said he's
here
a-
repping them.
Yo, that was funny. Anyway,
Oh, man.
All right. Well, as we
but
wrap
yes.
this thing up, we always like to give our guests a little bit of time. But yeah, we got off a little fun there, but actually not the longest podcast we've ever had. With as much as
I
we
know.
had to cover.
we always do this.
No,
here.
like that's the hilarious thing. I'll say it up front. We were good at like almost 2 hours. Probably could have like wrapped up the show tight 2 hours on like one of the longest TWABs ever. Because it's like, all right, cool, bullet point, go. There could be like 4 bullet points in a TWAB and 3 hour show because we fall off like a deep end somewhere. So somehow, yeah, this one turned into be a reasonable time.
Nice.
But Skarrow, the floor is yours. What you got working on? If you got a time where people can give you a big shout out for your doctorate, when we can, hopefully we get you on before, since you said a year and a half. We got to have you back before, so I can still call you Skarrow9 one more time, so I don't have to call you Dr. Skarrow9. Because if I have to call you if I have to call you that, then I don't know if we can invite you back. But at least for now. No, but what do you got cooking, man?
So I guess just to do that, I defend my dissertation May of 2023 if everything goes well. So
Nice.
like 18, 17 months. But in terms of like personal stuff, I don't know. Am I working on anything? I'm on a podcast tonight. That's cool.
Salute. That's right.
No, I have some stuff happening. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna be streaming. That's for sure.
Find this man on the Skarrow9 YouTube channel. He is an excellent streamer, fun dude, best hair. He might rock out for you or just scream so loud when he beats an encounter that he breaks his own windpipe. But
Both of them. Yes, that was painful.
did you actually hurt your throat when you did that? Like
a little bit. It was bad technique. I know a couple vocalists that would have been like, "That was you're screwing up your voice, bro."
Yeah.
But it was worth it, though. I mean,
Yeah, you killed that.
that was many hours later. But shout out to
too many.
now also the happy couple. Wanted to congrats on the marriage, by the way, since you now have a no longer girlfriend but a wife.
That was like 3 years ago. I've been on since.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
You said that before, so
You don't DM her? Jeez.
Yeah, bro. Come on.
He's like, come on, bro. Yo, I'm
I think
Talking to her about the Triumph score. Come on.
I think May 2018. Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, there we go. Yes.
Salute,
I think. Oh my God. Do I not?
I was like, you might want to make sure you know when your anniversary is. That's the only thing I'll say.
I'm telling you, man, grad school is crazy. It's like time. It's the longest days, shortest years of my life. Like time does not exist. It
probably
insane.
makes it worse that your grad school is during a pandemic. Like that's like compounded it so bad. I'm sure
it is worse in terms of that and like mentality and like trying to like stay grounded. But in terms of like so hiring like. Boom, tanked during COVID. And so like it's great because when I'm scheduled to get out, COVID will probably be like on the rise and there will be a lot of job positions opening from like, people who retired or something. And so it's better for me that it happened now than in 2 years. But yes, it has definitely made everything. And my life is like Destiny work. Work, and it's like that's it, just constantly. So
head down,
and now Halo main, by the way.
Nice, I love it, man.
Yeah, you got
me.
But yeah, in terms of like big projects, I don't know. There's fun stuff with guitar. I got a new guitar coming, so I'll probably do a couple videos so I can be like tax write off and
noise.
Favorite advanced GG flavor.
Oh, easy strawberry lemonade.
Good choice.
But I really want a Skarrow sweet tea eventually. So
yeah, we gotta get you. Yeah, you need that.
Skarrow sweet tea.
Yeah,
I like that.
I live in the South, so it's like thematic. Even though I like regular tea better, like unsweet tea, but I'll play into it. Whatever. I'll do like the
one that launches tomorrow. I'm actually excited about.
Yeah, it is. Have they announced the flavor? Can I say it?
You can probably say it here because by the time this will be public, it's fine.
Oh, cool! It's bomb pop flavored. I don't know what that'll.
Old
bomb
school
pop, rocket pop. So it's that like red, white, and blue popsicle.
I've got mine coming on the way, so I can do like I always do live tastings.
What are these insane '90s flavors?
Remember that?
They did.
Remember the '90s where they were just having fun, and then
I can't wait for next week's flavor, the retro cup flavor, where it just tastes like the white cup with the blue and pink stripes on it.
The Dixie cup.
Yeah. But in terms of like actual stuff I'm working on, I'm just taking it a day at a time. I just finished up to this point I haven't been working on much because I had my second of 3 defenses was like 2 weeks ago. Hardest defense in grad school typically, and I passed it. So nice. I have nothing. I'm just kind of like surviving right now. I'll get to planning stuff in the future now, like soon, but I'm just kind of vibing. So
nice.
Not a lot of self promo there.
That's all right.
Salute.
Just go watch this man in the streams, hang out. Always good vibes in there.
Hey, thank you.
No doubt.
Travis, any exciting things on do you get to keep playing Halo or?
I do get to keep playing Halo a little bit. I'm working on the wiki, so I'll probably be posting new articles on the Halo wiki on IGN.com every single day. Tonight, I have to finish all the vehicles, guides for all of them, and also create a guide on how to destroy vehicles. So I've been destroying vehicles all day.
I need that.
With different stuff. So if you need some help on that, I'll be able to help you.
When that's dropping, I need it. Okay, cool.
Oh yeah, dude, it's super easy to destroy vehicles.
What is that wasp one? It
wasp,
annoys me.
Use any of the shock weapons. A 2-tap disables it.
Okay.
The disruptor pistol or the shock rifle. If you shoot it twice,
disruptor pistol.
Down. Yep, the pistol
wow.
works. Or the grenades. If you throw the grenades and it like flies by it, it'll shock everything near it. It'll disable vehicles.
Nice. Didn't know that.
Yeah, it only disables it for a few seconds, but it's enough time for you to just like hop in the cockpit.
Yeah, jacket.
Knock the guy out or
so
whatever.
kind of little baby EMP effect to it.
Perfect.
Yeah, little EMP, it just disables it for a couple seconds. So I'm going to do that. And then you can follow me on Twitter at TyGuyTravis. Next week, I will be posting my review of the Nerf video game, so I'm going to have to take a break from playing Halo to play a Nerf gun game that I'm sure is going to be great. We'll see.
Wait, is the Nerf Gallahorn in it?
I'm done.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. No,
nice.
I have no idea. I have not played it yet. So it comes out tomorrow, and for whatever reason, they've decided to give the review copies out on the same day the game comes out. Which
you know what that usually means.
Let's just say I will be playing a game that is not Halo by coercion
So who
alone.
owns Nerf? Is that Hasbro?
I don't know actually. It's a great question.
I'm just wondering who bankrolled this game.
I really, dude, I have so many questions. I'm gonna dive in tomorrow and figure out who's the developer. What else have they made? Like,
Yeah.
if this is their debut game.
Yeah, it is
or,
Hasbro. Yeah,
it is
that's
Hasbro?
so
Makes
weird.
sense on
I
Hasbro.
haven't seen any. I have not seen any advertisement for this game.
Well,
so.
let,
I
me,
didn't
let me
even-
tell you. Let me tell you. There's games every day that you don't know came out. And
Fair enough.
I know this because they make me review those ones. That's mostly what I review. Is the games that no one has heard of.
Hey, it's gonna be on Steam though. Look at that.
Yeah, it is.
Maybe I'll pick it up. We can 1v1.
Absolutely.
I'm
gonna
gonna shoot you with the Nerf bow.
Nerf Ultimate.
Wait,
Please,
I'm looking.
bro.
It doesn't even. You're not even shooting Nerf guns. It's
Nope.
just regular. You're just shooting regular guns. This is just
You
Fortnite.
Sure are. It is.
Wow.
It looks like a Fortnite clone, basically. Yeah.
What is going
So-
on? Okay, well,
Yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna be playing that.
Nerf the game. All right, Cog, what do you got? Because
very
Wait,
exciting.
did Trav finish? I want to make sure Trav got his.
That's it. I'm good.
It's
good,
called
man.
Nerf
I'll end
Legends,
it on a
by the
high-
way.
I'll end it on a high note. Nerf is it Nerf Ultimate? Is what it's called?
Nerf Legends.
Nerf Legends. Thank you.
Yes.
It's
cool.
Go, Kyle. What are you doing, man?
Bro, again, Skarrow, salute, man. Good for pulling up. Always fun to have you, man. A pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
Always.
Always.
He's been there. Skarrow been there since the Flashpoint days.
Yeah.
Right?
You guys got the name is from you. That's how I met Abontis. He asked because we used to have a talk thing. I don't know. It was like when I was a small streamer.
Yep.
And then we stopped, and then Abontis reached out and he was like, "Hey, dude, can I use the name?" I was like, "Sure."
Yeah,
Like,
that's right.
I
It
don't
was
use
right. It was you. That's
Yep.
right. We had to
Yeah.
get the OG. That's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. You was like, yeah, bro, no problem. You were totally cool about
and
that.
I think I was on like one. I think like really early
Oh,
because
yeah,
of
you were.
that.
Yes.
Yeah, you were. I looked back through like my record of like who I have like somewhat recently from a while back, and like you
Yeah.
weren't on that list. I was like, I know we had you, but it's been a while, so
It's been a
definitely
while.
good
Yeah,
to get you
salute
back.
to you, brother. Always good to have
Yeah,
you.
anytime. I love doing this and just chatting and you
Mhm.
know whatever.
Yeah, no doubt. But yeah, me at Lord Cognito on Twitter, all that good stuff. Defining Duke had a monster episode with Rand Outdoor and
How
my
long?
boy.
How long?
Pretty long, like a little 3-hour special.
Thought it was 4.
Maybe close to 4. I think it was so long. I don't even remember now. But bro, it was lit though. It was lit. I ain't gonna front. Like we had a good time. Salute to him, talking all that good stuff. Shout out to Maddie Plays. So check that out. Again, it's up on Patreon. But if you don't want to do that, you can wait till it's free 99 on Sunday and get it on the YouTube or Last Stand Media. Check that out. Also, please stay tuned to lordsofgaming.net. A lot of special stuff cooking up, big stuff soon. So check out that. And then Iron Lords podcast this Sunday, y'all. We got a big one. Come hang out. We will be with the legendary Jason Ronald. Will be pulling up.
There you
We're
go.
going to talk, 1 year anniversary of the Series X. We'll talk about Xbox 20th anniversary. Obviously, Halo multiplayer drop. So it's going to be like a big Xbox love fest. So come through, check it out. King David will be crazy, acting
Oh my
wild. You
God.
already know. You know what I'm
I
saying?
will. Like whenever Phil gets on there, I think
Oh God.
King is gonna just like either die or break him. I don't know
Yeah,
how
yeah.
it's gonna
It's
go.
only a matter of time.
It's
all
only a
Yeah,
matter
I was
of
like, if you
time.
got
It's
Jason
on.
Ronald, you've had a couple other people. Phil's gonna get there. Like that'll have to happen.
Yeah. Oh, also one wants the link. I got you, bro. Yeah, man, come check it out. It should be a fun show. That'll be Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern. And again, all the new platform stuff, all the stuff going on in the with both series consoles. Just kind of like a celebration. Just bugging out, having a good time. So come check us out. And of course, even though E doesn't like me say, hit the like button.
There you
Subscribe
go.
to that last word, that Ebontis YouTube channel. Come check it out,
your
man. You
friends.
guys tell your friends,
Tell your
It's-
friends,
it's a
leave a
good time.
review on all audio platforms.
Yes, please do. It's a fun show. We love doing it, Travis. You the homie. It's been even more fun since you got here, and I'm loving it. Loving what we're doing, man. Continuing up the good work. E, what you got going on besides an amazing Matt's video that y'all all need to hit, subscribe, like. He put
Watch
in some
his
time with
Matt's
that.
video. Watch
Yes.
it now.
Yes, please. E, talk to him.
Yeah, so just been working on kind of guides that are going to be universally useful for a little while. So just upgrade materials, cores. Right now, by the way, it's like literally my number one in the video anyway. If you made it this far into the video and you managed to listen to it, you can go do hero level nightfalls. I got like anywhere from 3 to 5 enhancement cores, 1 to 2 prisms every run. Yeah, hollowed layers are like a little annoying, but in 12 minutes you can farm those easily. Like,
Dude, you got to clickbait it. You got to be like, hey, if you want to know the easiest way to get 5 prisms, go watch this video. Throw it in chat.
There you go. Teach the boy how to clickbait.
Well, I mean, there's an art. We
gotta help. He too nice. We gotta clickbait. Let's go.
Yeah, there's different forms of clickbaiting, but you gotta leave them wanting more, and always use ellipses if you can. This is the best end game material farm in Destiny. ... They'll click every time, and then just you in the thumbnail going,
There you go. There you go. Boom. Got the starter kit right there.
Yes, perfect.
But yeah, still just basically like working on kind of guides in this downtime that are like how to solo champions, did a guide on those. Just basically stuff that like if you tune in at some point, you'll be able to find something beneficial from it for trying to help out new people. I was actually talking to somebody and there's a point where I want to find somebody who wants to play Destiny but has literally never touched it. And what I want to do is what? You don't count.
Me.
You don't count. But no, it's like, because I'm really curious because we had Swifty on and he was talking about making a free account, but I want to like sit there and just like in Discord, like, an hour or so every so often, and just play with somebody who has never played it to see how confusing this game is for somebody who has no clue what's going on. Cause dude, like, we take so much for granted. I could only imagine they're like, well, what's this? Well, why is this? Who is that? Who are they talking about? It would be like, I swear, an infinite thing. Like, I don't know how I could do that series or who I could ever find, but like that would be just absolutely insane. I think just because people would be so clueless. But yeah, always just on YouTube, whether it's streaming on Twitch. If I get to Variety later, I'm still waiting on my monitor. Cross my fingers. It's at least on, the LA coast, and then hopefully it'll get shipped to me soon, and we'll see how that goes. Finally getting a 4K 144 monitor, so. Gonna be I've been 60 frames per second forever, so I might actually get high frames. So
let's go.
Yeah, it's been long overdue. So I don't even have
how many monitors do you use in your setup?
2 right now, so it'll be my 3rd.
Oh, you're going for 3. Nice.
Yep.
I think that's the sweet spot.
Yeah, because then like my old 1080, which is the one straight in front of me here, would probably be vertical for chat if I want it. Then you got so yeah, that's the goal is 3.
Nice.
Salute.
But yeah,
Huge.
Other than that, just like same as these guys, we're kind of in the lull before the 30th and trying to catch up on the backlog if I get a chance to.
Oh, we're going for World's First on the dungeon. That's what I'm doing.
There
you go.
There you go.
I have a baller team. We're gonna go, and then also in the downtime, I'm gonna be trying to solo A-Tracks because I've never done that. It's the easiest solo, I think.
Oh wow,
that's good.
So
Life doesn't seem to think you're gonna go world first on the dungeon.
Okay.
You got the inside scoop there.
Dang.
I can't with you.
Well,
she's like,
my
the teammates are subpar. Not seeing it.
She doesn't know that much about Destiny, so I just let her.
Okay,
I just let her kind
go.
of talk to herself. It'll be fine. There we go. Hey, Abontis, what if I get my wife to play and try to understand what's going on with Destiny?
There we go. There we go.
Idea.
She's like, okay, dude. Like literally, I had her play I forget what it might have been Destiny, and she was like, or no, it's Call of Duty. She like couldn't walk through doors.
No,
this is gonna be perfect.
I mean, I played It Takes Two with my wife, and
Salute.
she's she played like some stuff growing up, like Mario Kart and other she's played and she kills me in Tetris. She's amazing at Tetris and Beat Saber, so that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But like we played It Takes Two, and that's if you've never done a twin stick shooter or two on a controller. It's no joke if you've never done it. So like there's points where I'm like lapping the arena, making sure she gets like rezzed up, but like. We made it through the whole thing together, and I was actually really happy about that. But I was like, her playing Destiny would be the same way. I've joked. I'm like, like complete clueless Destiny person. It would be.
You had your wife right there.
That's what I'm saying.
She's busy. She's busy. She's just doing other things and probably doesn't want to
say. You gotta say, honey. For the clout. That's all you have to say. Do it for the clout.
I was like, what if this is like the video that takes off, babe? What if this is the series?
This is it. Golden Goose. You're sitting on it.
You just got to put each other, like both you guys in the thumbnail. There's a girl in your thumbnail, so your click rate goes 80%.
All the way.
You're fine.
You're right. You're totally right.
For episode number 174, this has been an absolute blast. We rambled on here in the end. This is like the last word after dark. Not to steal from RGH, but yeah, definitely a fun piece here. But thank you guys. Skarrow, always a pleasure. We'll try not to make it so long and getting you on because it's been too long. So definitely a fun chat with you. Travis, of course, good luck in the Nerf Wars.
And I'm very interested in this review, by the way.
I'm so interested in it.
I want to know.
I want to see when it comes out.
This is either going to be a Hot Wheels Unleashed, like a little surprise gem, or it's going to be like how low, like asking your boss, like how low can I score a game? What's the lowest score that IGN can give? Like it's one of those two, because I don't see it being just like, oh, it's a 6. It's either a 2 or a 9, and I don't think it's a whole lot of in between. And then
Skarrow, I'm definitely gonna tag you in my review.
Yes,
please tag all of us. Like I will retweet this thing.
I will retweet the hell out of it, and I'm watching it.
I want to see. And then Cog, of course, man, dude, yeah, awesome. Yeah, go check out Iron Lords podcast, lordsofgaming.net. Please hang out in their live chat. Be decent, but definitely blow up that chat for this man, because that's a huge guest. So awesome stuff. So yeah, episode number 174, November 18th, as we wrap this thing up. Thank you guys all. Chat has been amazing. Tell your friends, leave the reviews, drop the likes, all the good things for all of these amazing people. And for this episode, it has been
the last word.